Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Yo,
Sody.
welcome. Yeah, sometimes you gotta pop out and show. You know,
Yeah,
Kendrick popped out and showed some people on Wednesday. Disrupted some stuff, but you know what it is. This is Grapsody. I feel Lindsey. Of course, I am here. It's Righteous Reg. What's going on?
in the building. It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. It's Saturday. It's Grapsody, Righteous Reg, Media Man, all the things. Very excited, Phil. It's been a big, huge week. One of the, like you said, one of the greatest hip hop moments ever happened this week. And I'm still riding that wave. There's been a lot in wrestling. It's been kind of bittersweet, though. I just want to start out saying Oakland, California. It's crazy outside. Really unfortunate situation happened on Juneteenth at the lake that I'm at very often, and 16 people got shot and somebody got stabbed. Very awful situation. A mass shooting happened at the lake in Oakland, California. So I just want to say peace and love to everybody out in Oakland, California. It's consistently Robin season out here, Phil, and that is attached to personalities and tempers and all these crazy things that immediately pop off at any situation. So I just want to say, again, send love and peace out to the place that I live, because it's not consistently that. I know in the news, it's like if you are on the outside and you look at Oakland, you're probably like, it's crazy as hell. As someone from Chicago, you know the feeling of the news.
Yeah, I know what time it is. Once it gets warm, you know it's about that.
You know what time. As soon as it gets warm, everybody outside. People are riding on top of cars and shit out here. So it's like you have to be careful around these parts. And I see it consistently online of people coming and being like, we got to stop this. I'm like, the people that are doing this aren't online reading your little takes. They are outside doing outside activities. And it's like, I don't know how to stop it. And feel like you've lived in Chicago. I live in Oakland. I lived in Bakersfield for a long time. Just awful gang violence. It's been our whole lives. I don't know I don't know whatever to do to stop this. It's just a crazy space to exist in, you know?
Yeah, no, I can't remember who said it, but somebody was saying, every time these kind of things happen, all the people that are not committing gun violence get out and they go and march. But unless the people that are actually committing the crimes come together and decide we're going to stop doing this, that's the only thing that's really going to make it change.
It's never going to matter.
I do think, there's certain things we can try to do to try to keep like some of these kids active and doing other things other than that.
Definitely.
But, the people that are committing these things, those are the ones that need to make the change. They need to change their, mentality. I mean, and there's other things that comes with that. But yeah, very unfortunate. Condolences to the families of all of the people affected by that, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right though. That I think it starts with just like there's no youth centers, there's nowhere to play football. They take down the basketball courts. Like anything that would do to change that and maybe help with that is just they take those things away. So it's like, well, there's people don't know that like in gang and in that type of stuff, there's community, there's all these things. You get to hang out with their homies all the time. Like there's all this stuff kind of attached to it. So, it's wild.
There's a lot of stuff with that, my parents or, some older folks used to tell me at that time that I didn't understand until longer. But, you've heard the lecture of like, nah, if you're just out with a bunch of friends, just sitting somewhere, or y'all just all are just in a car, just going nowhere. It's like, nah. Y'all go do something.
Yeah.
I don't care what y'all do. Just sitting and y'all all together. Nah, no. Get
so
out.
many times. My mama
No.
said that. So don't be just hanging out nowhere. She still says that. Don't be
No.
just hanging out nowhere.
No, nah. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. We haven't had any, really bad reports of it recently with Chicago, but I know what time it is. It's warm. It's incredibly hot here. It's been 90 degrees for like a week. It's currently it's not as high, but it's supposed to get up to like 94 degrees today.
Ooh, and people don't know how to act when it gets hot. Not just those people, just people in general, man. Like your brain starts to go crazy when you're just stuck in the heat. You're like, I got to do something.
Yeah. Heat wave is definitely that first few days I was like, all right, man, it's cool, it's hot. And I like to get out and walk. So I get out and walk quite often, but I'm just like, all right, I think I've had enough of 90-degree weather. It's gonna keep going, get to next week, and I'm just like, enough, man.
Yeah, no, so you gotta I'm on that side too. There might be that older thing about us just want to get outside and walk and breathe some air. And that's also attached to the Oakland thing, is like I walk around all the time. Like I don't feel like my life is in danger. I don't feel like shit's crazy.
I know where to go though.
Yeah, definitely.
I know where I don't belong.
And I know how to move when I'm over. There's places in Oakland that I won't drive down. I won't even look down there.
Nah. It's certain areas. Like somebody was just asking me about my neighborhood, and they were like, "It seems so nice." I was like, "On this side." When you venture into certain other areas of the South Side, it's not. Nah. Yeah, I wouldn't be over there.
I mean, the South Side of Chicago, that's a thing. Like I'm from South. When somebody says that, it's like you either are a really great rapper or you could be into some shit,
I'm from the West Side of Chicago, looking for a bust down. Make me put two arms up, touchdown. Yeah, that was an egregious line. Why we let Cam do that?
I think Cam, like, he established this thing of that. You know what I mean?
That was a wild line.
You know what I mean? Like he established that he could go with wild ass bars, and we were just like, that's his thing. That's his deal at this point. You saw that they were talking about Hove doing the Tom Brady thing and how he doesn't ever do any hip hop things, but he always does some rich guy thing.
Listen, go figure. Rich black guy that is a known capitalist does rich black guy things. I don't know why we're stunned by this. The guy has been telling you for the longest, listen, I'm not coming up to do the raps unless you pay me for years now. Why are you guys surprised by this? Like,
this guy has told us off rip, money, money, money. First album, money. That's all I care about.
Yes.
I don't care about none of this. All I care about is money.
Bro, I'm overcharging y'all for what y'all did to the Cold Crush, bro. Listen, man.
Overcharging is what he said.
Listen, man. I listen, the guy has told you he's about a bag for his entire career, man. I don't know why people are shocked by this.
Every time he does something, they're like, this Jay-Z. I'm like, yeah, I think that's
who he is. He's been telling you he's a capitalist for a long time. I don't know.
I'm like, where do you land with it? I don't think it takes away from Hove. That's Hove. That's what he's been telling us and doing this whole time.
Love the guy as an artist. Don't agree with a lot of his political and social views on things.
I'm just talking
but that's just what it is. When you make the kind of money that he is, we just not got the same perspective on things.
It's better than one billionaire too. Like this guy gets on the records talking about being a billionaire all the time. Him and his wife is just dumb rich. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I don't know. Go figure. This guy really likes money. The guy that made the song "I Love the Dough."
Money cash shows.
Listen, man. All of this, you can go across so many lines and a bunch of discography. Like, yeah, he's about to bag. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which I was laughing very hard last night. Our guy. CM Punk was back in Chicago, which we'll get into. But I chuckled right after the SmackDown because, he was supposed to be getting carted out in an ambulance. And there was some fan footage of him pulling out in his G-Wagon. I was like, listen, man. Hey, that kayfabe is kayfabe, but bro, hey, listen, man, I see y'all. I live right up the street, bro. I'm about to hop in a wagon and whip this thing up out of here. I see y'all later.
I'm driving the G-Wagon home. I know the angle that we did earlier, but I'm about to slide out of here. I don't know what y'all think. Like the ambulance is not going to drop me off at home.
Listen, what did you think he was about to? He was about to go and put on a neck brace and do all this stuff. Listen, bro, I'm about to hop in this G-Wagon. I'm about to slide. Try and see
I'm
if
at
Wiener
home.
Circle's still open, bro.
I'm
Like, what's up?
saying, we in Chicago. What you think I'm about to be doing? Did you was this a jealous moment? That was a pretty hot SmackDown that you weren't there. Did you have FOMO? Are you there? You're there.
I'm here. I think it froze.
Okay. Did you have FOMO?
No, I'm not big into going to like the SmackDown tapings. I did want to see, like, when I saw the ending of it, I was like, oh, it would have been kind of cool to see the homie Jacob in the building. But you know, other than that, it was a pretty good episode of SmackDown.
I liked it. I watched it.
You know, but yeah, Kendrick popped out. Great concert. It was very, very West Coast.
To say the least. You're still there.
I'm still here. I think it froze again. Okay. Yeah, Kendrick popped out. Really, really good concert. Very, very West Coast. And I was sitting there watching it the whole time, and I was like, the most West Coast person I know is not there.
No, you coming and trolling me on the post show kills me. Denise just reads it. Philip Lindsey says Kendrick is killing it at the Kia Forum and Reg is here. I died, dude. I'm like, yeah, no. Phil, as the most West Coast person, you know, watching that concert, first of all, amazing moment. Like the culture, like that's what the culture needs consistently. Hip hop just had its 50th anniversary last year. This is some of the most hip hop things we ever seen. We've seen monumental LA hip hop moments and with Pac and stuff, but and when Kendrick was crowned the king of LA, but this was like
different.
This was crazy. Like I've been out to LA and Lamert Park and these different places where they're having black celebrations, and this was that on stage. It's like we've been to family reunions and celebrations in places that I'm like, I don't know if these people are going to coexist in this place. And they usually don't coexist in this place. And these people coexisted in this place.
Yeah, I thought the energy in the crowd was dope. Man, right off the bat, I think we know Tyler is Tyler. But every time I see Tyler in front of crowds and see how like crowds respond to Tyler, like, this guy's like a massive star, man. Like when he came out, the entire mood in that arena changed, bro. Like,
bro, I've watched that shot of him when Mustard plays the song and he walks up, and that shot of him right on the beginning of the stage and everybody behind him's going nuts and he's just dancing. I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is,
bro. Tyler
has like where he's came from of like, I remember when Odd Future first came out, I was like, I was a little too old. I was like a couple years ahead, and I was like, I don't really know about these guys. But then I got super into Earl, and I was like, okay, I might see it. But then I started listening to Tyler, like from Wolf On, and I was like, oh, like this guy is like musical. He can rap. He does like different things. And so, yeah. But now though, Phil, like he is like
he's out here,
a cultural icon, bro.
Yeah, watching him come out there, and it's not like he did like he did like recent records. It's not like he did like, not like he even did like some of his biggest hits and he got that reaction. He only did 2 songs and he got that reaction. And that was wild to see. Really cool to see him on that stage during the Mustard. The Mustard set was also really good. Man, Mustard had a run. Quickly reminded people in his set that he had a run.
Like I have a bunch of hits, you guys. You guys thought I just had one. You thought this Not Like Us was first? No, I've been doing this.
Nah, Mustard on the Beat was a thing for a minute. But yeah, that happened. You know, Dom Kennedy
came out on the
you know who really bangers set, my nigga YG.
And here's YG in all of his glory. I'm like, okay, I think very interesting stuff. YG is somebody said that YG's Mexican's favorite rapper, favorite black rapper. And
I did see somebody say that he's Hove to Mexicans.
Yeah, he's Hove to Mexican. I'm like, as someone who's been in California and seeing the energy around YG, yeah, 100%. When he came out with that Maria record, I was like, oh, he's out of here.
Yeah. I I know Vince. He tweeted later that he wasn't there, but Vince was somebody I would have loved to seen out there. Another big West Coast artist.
Yeah,
Got
Vince is
the
on
album
tour.
out.
That's the only reason that he
Yeah.
wasn't
So
there.
I would have loved to see Vince out there though. That would have
Mhm.
been perfect.
And you saw the we're gonna get more into the Kendrick, but your homeboy Game did a 15-minute video on why he wasn't there, and the conclusion was, "Well, I'm a dad, and Drake gets me tickets to his concert." I was like, "All right, let me." I
he
don't
was
know.
doing a lot of explaining, but it wasn't
But
a lot that was
honestly,
making sense.
though,
It just
like, bro, what are you doing? You should be up here. Like, if we're talking
it
about
looked
like
crazy.
West Coast, you should be up here.
It looked crazy. I tweeted several times when I saw it. I was like, "Yo, what is this beard? Like, what is
The
this, man?
beard
Cut
is
that off."
wild though. He got like that wild Amish beard, almost a little bit.
Yeah, I tweeted it looked like when the little rascals tried to sneak into that bank and get the loan. I'm like, bro, take that fake beard off, bro. Stop playing with it, though.
Like, why does it go like that? Like, it goes like in a weird.
It looked crazy, bro. Yo, cut this off, man.
But I'm saying the bro, like I don't know, you killed all your goodwill. You should be up here rapping, dude. You're West Coast as fuck. You're one of the most LA rappers there are, and you're
Yes.
not up here for a reason.
Yeah. It looked crazy, but
It's weird.
yeah, Kendrick setting it in itself, starting with Euphoria. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
And
We coming out the gate.
The crowd rapping every single word.
But yeah, hit all of the hits. We got a Black Hippie reunion, which I was here for. As soon as Collard Greens hit, I was like, we're here, man.
Mm-hmm.
We got J Rock and him doing Money Trees. The J Rock verse on Money Trees will never not hit for me. I don't care where I am. I don't care when I hear it. It just always hits.
There needs to be. I wanted there to be a museum of the greatest hip hop verses of all time, and that one is in there because, like, I can like think of when that album came out, and like we were all bumping that album. Like everywhere I go, it was like Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick Lamar. And when that verse would come up, everybody was like Magic Rocket, like every single. It never failed. Whoever it was, like that was the shit. And so like the crowd and being attached, and how Kendrick, the role that Kendrick has played in all the members of Black Hippie's career, but honestly, the role that they've played in helping him get to where he is, I think is more important because there's elements of all three of them in all of Kendrick's stuff. Like, you know, that like they work together, there's a cohesive unit. So seeing that on stage was sick. The part with 616 in LA and him rapping the Ab-Soul.
Bro, Ab-Soul coming out and doing it's survival. Survival.
Wrap me up, brother. They said one time, Phil, I always think about this. Post Malone did an interview when he was still in the hip hop culture, and he was like, there's no hip hop songs that make you emotional. Like, I've never cried listening to a hip hop song. It's only like Bob Dylan or something he was saying. And I was like, that's how you know this guy's not a part of the culture, because
lying.
I've got emotional off songs that aren't even like emotional songs, just like really good rap, and I've been like, this is amazing. I can't believe this.
There's no way you can listen to the end of Saba's second album and not get emotional.
Bro,
like,
Saba made a whole album of emotional records, or like just like Song Cry of Hove, like the way that he does, you know, like if you don't listen to that and think you've never been in those situations, that's why it doesn't relate to that. So that's what, when I saw that Ab-Soul and Kendrick rapping and all the stuff that Ab-Soul has been through recently, and again, knowing the role that he's played on Kendrick's rise, and Kendrick's used a lot of like his influence to come up. I know how much Ab-Soul likes that song, so for him to just be rapping right to him was like, this is get me out of here. I'm about to cry. I'm about to lay down. Give me somewhere. Like that shit was hard, and that song is just like,
I actually think 616 in LA is very underrated out of all of the records that came out from the disc.
Yeah.
But I just think also too, because you know the stat came out of, you know, it's the most minutes played for any Apple Music event. But I just think the way he executed this of just putting the music out in April with the beef, and we didn't see him anywhere. He wasn't doing interviews. He wasn't popping out nowhere. We didn't see him anywhere. So the first time we saw him was him doing this show at the Forum. And
Unreal.
so immediately I knew a lot of people were going to watch it, because it was like, bro, this guy's been the talk of the year. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, okay, what is he going to do? Is he going to keep this beef going? What's he going to say? And you know, he did the usual what I'd expect. He didn't get into any of the personal stuff. He didn't really talk much. He just got into the songs. Did the hits I expected, like swimming pools. But no, this was a great set. And then not just that, this guy's a really good performer. The
Unreal.
breath control, just the way he commands that stage, the pyros that he had for certain songs. Nah, man, this was incredible. Bringing out so many guys out the end. The idea of you guys trying to tell me that Brody Westbrook is not LA and this guy was on that stage looking like the most LA guy that I could think of. Like, yo,
Westbrook couldn't wait to see walk on stage. Like, can I see walk now? Get me on stage to do this. He couldn't wait.
Having the time of his life. Had DeMar up there, which
also see walk. Everybody, like all the
big
all
Cali
the homies that they thought were on that side. Now they're up here.
Big Cali bro, DeRozan up there.
Your homeboy was jealous in the crowd too.
Yeah, I laughed immediately because LeBron was in the crowd and there were some clips of him rapping the words to "Not Like Us," but I immediately laughed because I was like, "Oh, Westbrook up there, he can't go up there." You know,
no, he can't.
He's not as fly with Westbrook no more, so he can't get up there.
And Westbrook got, he got clout and he got something in LA, so he could be
listen.
Like, don't let him up here.
Listen,
even though he plays for the team,
Westbrook is a real LA guy. Y'all can say what y'all want.
Yeah,
Westbrook is a real LA guy.
Very real.
Westbrook,
this guy did 2020 when Nip died. Like, come on, you died. Come on.
But no, Westbrook is an LA guy. LeBron is a visitor. Sorry, man. I hate to put it that way, but he is. He's the kid from Akron, bro. He's not an LA guy.
And that totally shows you, because if LeBron was LA, he would have been up there. That's just how it works.
But yeah, DeMar was up there. You know, of course, he spent a big part of his years in Toronto. We've seen this guy wearing OVO stuff. We've seen him linked with Drake. Drake has shouted him out multiple times. So to see him up there, I was like, ooh.
He went to Drake's house when he got traded from the Raptors.
Ooh. I was like, yikes. This is where we are, man. Like,
The Weeknd was in the crowd.
Weeknd was in the crowd. SZA was out there. There's clips of Northwest out there with her phone up, like you would have thought she was out there seeing Taylor Swift. How excited she was! Like,
seriously,
she could have been more happy. Like,
jumping up and down, singing, slapping hands with her friends. I'm like, she's having a great time out here.
Yeah, but just that idea of him having this whole concert and then at the end going, yeah, I'm gonna do Not Like Us. Hey, I'll do it one time by myself, and he got all the way to the A minor line. And he started doing the money dance and. I was like, yeah, we're at this kind of energy. Did the record 5 times, brought all his Cali bros up there, had fun dancing on this man's grave. Yeah, this was a wild victory lap, man.
Yeah, when they got to Not Like Us and he did it the few times and didn't get to the chorus, I was like, oh my God, when it gets to the chorus, it's going to be insane. So he gets to the chorus and everybody goes ham. And it's funny because it's like somebody on tweeted that he couldn't get the third verse right any of the times. I'm like, as a rapper,
too much energy,
in that space, and you get that energy, like you can't, I can't, like he can't think straight. There's Bloods and Crips are on stage right now. Phil, what do you want me to? You want me to rap?
Too much energy of me laughing at the idea that this guy got on a record and said that you're not as hot in your hood as me, and he is standing in the forum, not just. Bro, you're standing in the forum once again, getting the cosign from Dr. Dre, doing California Love. Then Dre does the opening to Not Like Us and whispers, "I see dead people." No, he's just the idea of all of this is very funny because it's like, oh, that's your man up here dancing with me. Oh, that's your man over there that's in the crowd. Like, you thought this was gonna go differently, huh? Like, nah.
Your favorite basketball players are up here with me, dude. Like, I don't know what I saw you at his little barbershop show say you didn't want to disappoint him. He at my show.
This is what I've said. Like, this is his first time like popping out and performing the record as well. But just the energy, just everything that was happening. I wouldn't have expected him to get all the words right, man. Because it was just too much happening.
Too much going on, man. Like, at the point when they got to the 4th song and then the 4th time doing Not Like Us, and then he brings everybody on stage to take a picture and he's like, this isn't about no back and forth records. This ain't about no beef. This ain't about nothing. This is about this moment right here. This is about unity. All right, get this last picture. All right, run it back. I'm like, all right,
Dun, dun, dun.
I thought you said this wasn't about no back and forth. No, so you gonna run it back again?
What I think the great thing about this is this was a victory lap, but he also made the point of, no, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you mock one of our legends? How dare you speak about what I represent here? No, this is my home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the
don't talk
king of the
about
West
Pac.
Coast. You can't just you
Yeah.
can't talk about the coast in any way. You can't talk about Pac in that way. You can't talk about Pharrell in that way. You can't do that. Like, again, you are a visitor over here.
You're
This
a
is my
visitor.
coast, and to a larger point, I'm the culture, bro.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
visitor
I think
in
that's
my
what it is.
culture,
Mhm.
and whether I really agree with him on that or not,
Mhm.
him running this victory lap and putting it this way is kind of like, well, dag, dude got his foot in your neck though.
I mean, if you want to show, like, just he didn't even get to the concert, and we had already seen YG, and like you said that you know what I mean. You're already on the ropes before we even heard Kendrick rap one bar.
Yes, there's so many.
Kendrick comes out and just starts tearing it down, and like you said, Phil, as a rapper that does it and has been on stage and with the mic, the way that he's an exceptional a master at the bars, but then you could get on stage and do that too. I'm like, all right, you got to stop. You can't be superhuman. Like, you got to have one thing that you're not crazy insane about.
Superstar, man. Like
how? Like his breath
God.
control, and like he knows exactly when to drop out. He rehearsed this for 500 weeks, and you know he didn't, but like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. What a moment. That was
What a
a
show.
great concert. Juneteenth. What a great way to cap off Juneteenth.
Unreal. I watched it again yesterday, and it was just as good.
Incredible, man. I'm gonna tell you, because the ratings discourse was all over the timeline yesterday, and boy, I could not care less. It was the same thing Wednesday. I did not watch wrestling, buddy. I did not turn on Dynamite. I was sitting there watching the Kendrick show that night. I was not watching wrestling.
I had two screens on, and let me tell you guys that AEW Dynamite post show I did with Denise, I freestyled most of it because I was not watching no AEW Dynamite.
Bro.
The second half was just all Kendrick, like the second half of the show. Bro, I'm locked in on Kendrick. I'm sorry, you guys. What do you want from me?
Yeah. What a great night.
I got to go back and watch Pac and Claudio, because like,
yeah,
bro.
I went back and watched Dynamite, but yeah, I did not watch it live. Yeah, great night for hip hop. Been a great year for hip hop. Still getting great music coming out. What a night, man.
It's crazy because there's been a couple of years where I'm like, hip hop, I don't know, the mainstream stuff, they started talking about too many numbers. And so for the guys to come back and just bring the culture back, and Kendrick to cap it off like this is like, thank you. Just thanks. That's it.
I continue to say that these guys have been going at it, because at one point he performed King Kunta, which I love King Kunta, and he did the Ghost Rider line from that record, and people like, man, he been dissing this dude for a minute. Yeah, he been dissing this dude for almost 12 years, since like 2013. And so I think that in itself is dope, that they've been subtweeting or subbing each other for the longest, and then when we finally got to it, it lived up to the hype. We got so many great moments out of it.
That's the thing.
Just absolutely delivered as a rap beef. Kendrick continues to prove he is who he says he is. Yeah. What a time. What a time for hip hop fans.
5 times in a row to close out the show, and had like a little kid dancing on the last one. Like, you can't get much better than that. That's one of the most LA shows I've ever seen. Tommy the Clown was up there. Like, this shit was like being in LA on a fucking sunny ass Saturday and just having the greatest time of your life. I love that it was broadcasted. You know what I mean? Like that's the different cultural moment than the past, than the Pac and Nas and Hove stuff. Is like, there wasn't any live streaming where the whole hip hop culture is watching along.
It felt very much like some of the stuff during the pandemic, where we were all locked in to watch like some of the verses or like some of those DJ sets on Instagram, like when DJ Nice was jumping on Instagram and everybody was just huddled around their phones or something, just trying to look for any communal experiences. So it felt very similar. I think that was dope too that he broadcasted on Juneteenth, and that just goes back to his point again of what do you do for the culture? Like
different, yeah.
You're not doing this. You're not doing what I do.
Now I think like you said, I think it is like he does stuff like I think they take too much away from your boy Driz, but it's just different.
I mean, I think some
he
of
definitely
it
puts on for Toronto. He definitely puts on for artists. It's just different.
It's not the same, man. Like
yeah,
and you know, it's personal for
like he couldn't do that. Like he can't have a show in Toronto and then a bunch of like it wouldn't be the same.
He's not pulling up to Houston and doing something like that because you're not. I mean, he's done a lot in H-Town, but you're not of the culture like that in H-Town like that. You're not
like Atlanta. Atlanta's not gonna let you do that.
Run to Atlanta just to make a few dollars. Son.
I don't think they're gonna let you do that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I say that as somebody that likes a lot of Drake music, still likes a lot of Drake music, but that's not. This is just different, bro. Like they're just two different artists. They're apple to oranges, man. But he not doing that, man.
I think that's what we learned from it, and I'm happy that it happened. Like they did the battle, so there won't be that thing in the back for forever. Like, why didn't they ever do this? Like they did it. We saw it in real time. And so we can make your assumptions. Yeah, there's still his whole fan base that are like, Kendrick didn't do shit. He's sorry. That concert was whack.
He didn't do nothing. Okay.
That's like when people are like, oh, Drake's over. I'm like, he's not over. He still has a legion.
He's not over, but
I think that Kendrick didn't do anything. So
he's not over, but we're never gonna look at Drake the same way. This was the most public ass whooping we've ever seen in a rap battle, and then he proceeded to have a funeral for this guy in his hometown and have the wildest parade and victory lap we've ever seen. So, nah, I can't say he didn't do nothing. He absolutely smoked this dude.
Oh man, damn, what a time! But for hip hop though, an amazing moment, great show. Kendrick had a amazing set. I just loved it all. The homie E40 was the intro. He did the intro to the concert, and then 2 nights ago I watched the homie E40 live at the Alameda County Fair. So hip hop came full circle, and I'm feeling amazing.
Yeah. As soon as you said Alameda, I thought a Riff Raff line.
What is it?
Riff Raff is wild, man.
Riff Raff is an amazing. We should get a Riff Raff on the pod.
He's like a wrestling fan.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he tried to wrestle one time.
He tried. Wait a minute. What?
You missed that?
I did. What?
You missed Riff Raff's run? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I did not see this.
He started training. He got hella buff. I can't believe you missed this. Yeah, he got like really buff. He was training with somebody. He might have been training with your boy Terry, honestly. But I remember he like got buff. He had a match scheduled and everything. Riff Raff. Yeah. Wow. Wow. But yes, if you guys haven't seen it, I don't know how if you haven't. The Kendrick thing is on YouTube. My whole YouTube page is like, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, I've seen it, dude. But you can still watch it on there. There's still places for you to catch it. And if you haven't, you don't like hip hop, you just want to see an amazing musical moment, watch the show.
Yeah. At one point, I was talking to my brother on the phone, and he was like, I never really liked California Love like that. And I was like, it's not really my thing either, but I don't think it's for us. Like, we're not LA guys. Like if I'm thinking like top Pac songs, it's not my top. But for y'all over there, that's Anthem.
California, come on, man. Like that became, people say California Love, like it became bigger than even the song represents. Like it's not my favorite Pac song either, but like California Love, man. Like how could you not?
Yeah, I personally prefer Live and Die in LA. I like the video for Live and Die in LA more too, but that's just personally me.
That's when the Mexicans' original favorite black rapper was Pac. And I remember specifically, it was after that video came out, I was in 6th grade, and my Mexican friend came up to me and he was like, Tupac says in Live and Die in LA wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. And he's like, he's forever goated. And like, from that point on, like every Latino I knew was like, Pac is the greatest. He's the best. He's the best. And like he made his stand, and like it's for a good reason. Like you live in California, like all my friends growing up were Latinos. Like you just when we have these cultural things against each other, I'm like, dude, we're so the same. I can't even do it. And so it's so funny that he became like he's more their rapper than ours. Sometimes they're like, no, Pac is ours. And
West
I'm
Coast.
like, West Coast, it's all the same. Because that was also the thing, Phil, is like people, they were showing the crowd and people were like, well, look at the crowd in LA. There's not even any black people. I'm like, that's LA.
It's LA.
I don't know, like
it's LA. All of the black people. Yeah. I don't know
it's
why.
Not even like a gentrified thing. That's forever been LA. That's just what it looks like.
That when you get outside of LA and you get to the other parts of Cali, that's where most of the black people are. That's where. No, I'm not surprised by it. It's the Forum. Like what?
Yeah.
People don't be knowing what they're talking about.
People do not be knowing ever. Everybody want to make something out of something, and they don't even be knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What they talking about. We got a couple super chats talking about this, so we should
send us your super chats, of course. Send us your Humper chats via humperchats.com/Fightful.
Our first super chat's gonna be from Josh Jones. He says, I needed DeMar to have some shame. We saw you, fam.
Nah, man, he was happy. He was in his hometown. He's happy, man. I love the way he's embraced Chicago, by the way, man. Like I see him sometimes, he's got like the socks fitted on. I was like, man, DeMar is like one of our guys now.
See?
But he's absolutely Cali to his core. I mean, the way he dresses, just his hair, everything about him, he's a Cali dude.
And that's why I'm not mad at him for exactly what you said there, Phil. Like he embraced Chicago, like he embraced Toronto because that's where he was. It wasn't like he was faking the funk. Like, no, I'm here. I'm playing for this team. I'm gonna represent.
Yeah, but nah. He also every time you see him, everything about him, like even like his family, his daughter, and everything.
If you hear him talk, you're like, oh yeah,
very very Cali dude.
He's very California. He has high white socks on, like.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen with him. He could end up. Not being a Bull. I kind of hope that we re-sign him just because I like DeMar. There was the trade talk this week of us trading Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, which I mean, people were kind of over exaggerating about this trade a little bit because I get it. People like Alex Caruso; he's well liked in this city, and Josh Giddey had
in any city
had a very problematic off-court situation, and then he had some struggles on the court, so he just had like a very toxic season. So you're looking at one guy that's very well liked, that worked himself up from being an undrafted guy to a hyped up rookie that got a wild case. So I don't think it's a terrible trade based on what they're trying to do. They're trying to go younger. And
who do you think is going to be better for this, minus the controversies? Who's better for the team, you think?
Oh, Josh Giddey, by far. That's why I was like, I understand the trade. The only thing with me is I hate that the Bulls do this all the time. They always do this shit where it's like, all right, we're trying to compete. Like, we're not good enough. Like, I know they were trying to make the playoffs, but I'm like, bro, just make the trades at the trade deadline. Just commit to retooling the team going into next year and just come back. They weren't going to make the playoffs. They made it to a play-in tournament, got completely embarrassed. I wish they would have just made the trade back then when you could have packaged it and got some picks, or you could have packaged it and moved Levine back then. But now you did this 1-to-1 trade. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking at, like for the value and everything that you could have got. You could have done this months ago.
Right.
But as a 1-to-1 trade, I wasn't terribly mad at it because I'm like, bro, we're not going to win with Caruso. I like Caruso, but Caruso's not going to get much better. Caruso gives you good defense and, every now and then he'll get hot and hit that three, but he keeps getting injured. He's kind of unreliable on offense. Like, I would rather go young and start building toward the future than trying to just give this guy another contract just for the sake of, just because you like him.
Right. Yeah, all the controversy I seen, nobody was talking about basketball, though. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's all perception based. If Josh Giddey comes here and plays well, all of that's going to go away.
Right. That's how it works, too.
Well, of course. You know I'm right.
It's crazy out here, man. Delay Grat says Drake has been deported from LA and to Toronto now.
Yeah, that was the other thing that kind of scared me with this. I'm like, bro, when Drake starts touring again, I don't know about Cali stops, bro. You might not be able to come to Cali, bro.
By the time it happens, people probably forgot.
Maybe, but I don't know. I just that tour and the way he's galvanized people around the coast, the way he's galvanized people around the idea that he disrespected the coast. He can't just come back to LA, bro. He can't just come back to Cali, man.
Bro disrespected maybe our number one rapper ever, Pac, and then he said, "This is my city. All these fans are mine." Is
nah,
yeah, I don't know,
bro.
Probably not.
Bro, he said on record that a lot of people were screaming to the top of their lungs in forum. You think the Bay gonna let you disrespect Pac?
Mm-mm.
I think that Oakland show gonna be your last stop. No, I don't think he's coming back to Cali anytime soon, bro. I hear you. You can do all the hit the Delilah with all my ice all you want. I don't think you're hitting the Delilah, bro.
I'm when thinking about that, I wasn't thinking about Oakland. Definitely don't come to Oakland. I wouldn't recommend it.
No. Okay, it might get scary. We did bury the lead because we did talk about basketball. We did not talk about the Boston Celtics. Are the 2024 NBA champions. Mercedes Moné was in the building, sitting courtside. I thought that video of her with the confetti coming down was really, really funny. She was like having the time of her life, screaming at her phone. You can see Tim Hardaway Jr. in the background just trying to get out of the shot. Like, get me out of here, man. We lost someone.
Got Sasha Banks in here with her phone. Leave me alone. But I guess begrudgingly, congrats to the Boston Celtics for winning.
I don't know why people thought that Dallas was gonna win this series. My dad was big, like, oh, Dallas got him. I was like, Dad, I don't think this is happening. I just talked to my dad like just a few minutes ago because I was just sitting, like, just talking to him, and he was also like, can you believe they're trying to give Caitlin Clark Rookie of the Year? And I said, Dad, she's going to win Rookie of the Year. And he was like, but Angel Reese, I was like, Dad, she's going to win Rookie of the Year, buddy. Prepare yourself for this. And he was trying to go all these stats. I'm like, bro, no other rookie has affected the WNBA in the way that this woman has. She's going to be Rookie of the Year. He was not trying to hear it. But shout out to the Boston Celtics. Tatum finally got a
Go ahead. You still there?
Yeah. Tatum finally got him a ring. Jaylen Brown got him a ring. Walking around with a Chicago Sky player. Good for him, man.
Good for him, man. Is the funniest shit I heard all day.
But it wasn't an exciting NBA Finals by any stretch. It wasn't an impressive Finals.
I had him on in the background. I was like, man,
but
because the playoffs were so intense. It was another kind of cultural moment. We're all on watching it, having a good time, and then the finals are just like Boston's whooping their ass out here.
Yeah, Dallas wasn't. They just looked outclassed. I don't think anybody expected them to get that far, and it showed. Shout out to Kyrie. I thought Kyrie did a very classy move. He went around and started shaking people's hands early, and he stood out there with the rest of the team until the game was over. He soaked up them boos, and he didn't shun away from it. He didn't go out in the locker room. I thought that was a really good look for him. So yeah, shout out to him. Real classy move.
Did not play that great, a lot of class. Yeah, the basketball wasn't that great. Maybe he was too focused on being like, I need to show some class out here. Now you need to show some threes out this bitch. But every team. I don't know if any team could have beat Boston because every team was so tired going into those finals, and Boston just wasn't as tired as anybody else.
They got favorable matchups. We can say what it is. They got some teams that had some big injuries. Cavs had big injuries. They didn't have Mitchell. Halliburton was hurt by the time they played him. So they had some favorable matchups. And then you got a Dallas team that just wasn't deep enough to beat them. I don't think that they would have won if they played Denver. I think Denver would have beat them. I think Minnesota would have gave them a lot more trouble as well. I think there's a really good chance that Minnesota could have beat them as well. But chips land the way they land. So congratulations to those guys.
Boston.
Bastin.
Bastin.
Come on,
Shout out
man.
to Bastin.
Oh man, you know what time it is. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America.
Nah, shout out to all my Boston homies. I almost did the Ray J. Shout out to
Yo, this guy got to sit down, bro.
Ray
Watching
J's
him,
insane, bro.
watching him on Breakfast Club this week, I'm like, bro, you got to chill out.
You went on again, Phil? Why do they keep having him on the show?
No, I'm just now seeing it because he was on.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you got to chill out, dog.
I'm still thinking because that's the different than the last time he was on there, though. Like he keeps doing this. It's like should we have an intervention? And then Charlemagne's like, no, let's bring him on while he's drunk, dude.
He was out of here. He was drinking early in the morning too. I was like, it's time.
Bro, what time did they film this show? Ray J's already lit. Fame. Delayed Gratz also says Aubrey Graham is a child actor who decided he wanted to rap. Aubrey was always an industry-made faker. This takedown was 10 years overdue.
Yeah, and he's an unconventional guy in this space, and because of that, he was always going to be an outsider. And I think because of that, he had this big chip on his shoulder that is now kind of put him in a spot where he's worn out a lot of welcomes with people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't just be like that Drake is not hip hop. This guy had a run, bro. Like the amount of artists he's like linked with, the amount of music he's put out, I can't just be like he's just not. He's just not hip hop in the same way that Kendrick is.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's like I was saying earlier. They take a little too much away from Drake. Like he is I don't even think he's an outsider. He deserves to be here. Like he earned a spot. He's like one of the most hip hop guys you'll ever meet if you get past all of the shenanigans and bullshit. And I think that it's just the way that he moved that mess. Cause like he could be in a totally different position at this point, but like he was forced into it also. Like if you're the biggest rapper in the world, if you're going to constantly have a target on your back, you got to move a certain way. You're going to get there with some different practices. You're probably going to get music from in different ways. It's just a different set of standards to be the number one rapper in the world. So I don't ever get mad at anything that he does. When he takes somebody's song and makes it a hit, it's like, I don't know, like I can't be mad at him for doing that.
Yeah, but you could just tell the world he's from. You can tell that he doesn't get certain social cues. There's certain faux pas that he's done. I'm like, you're not supposed to do that. You're just not supposed to do that. And I think he just doesn't get that part of it. But I can't say that he's not hip hop or that he doesn't love hip hop. When you listen to the guys that he like was saying immediately influenced him, like, bro, you're a Joe Budden fan, and not like a pump it up Joe Budden fan. Like you're a fan of Joe Budden, the rapper. He's a big Fonte fan. Like, nah, he's a hip hop fan, bro. Like, those are guys that you don't just like pick up and just be like, oh, I like hip hop. Like those are not like casual hip hop fans. They're not gonna go and say I'm a Fonte fan, bro.
Right. Yeah, he was saying like Wayne because he was standing right next to him, and he knows that people are going to be able to relate if he says one of his favorite rappers is Wayne. But then he would also be like, but I really love Fonte. I'm here because Fonte did this thing. I'm here
big
because
Joe Budden fan. Well.
Joe Budden did
he
this
can't say
music thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy when he tries to say that, but it's like, no, you were here for a reason, and you kind of modeled yourself after what these guys created. So yeah, half the people are actors and fakers. Like where's the line? If that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Where's the line? Your favorite rapper is probably the same thing.
We can get into some of, I think that the stuff that he kind of was confused by that were faux pas. He was like, well, why y'all mad at me? Your favorite rapper does the same thing. Like if I'm sure he's sitting somewhere like, yo, y'all mad at these ref tracks? Like, bro, I recorded a ref track for this guy that you don't know about. Or nah, man, it's certain stuff that he's done that other rappers have absolutely done. But because it's him, you can't do that because you're going to get the heat from it. You specifically can't do that because I don't like you. That's
how it is. Yeah, no, I feel him with the ref track things. Like he wasn't the first one. He wasn't the 1000th one. He's, you know what I mean? He's just like
bro.
This is just the game at this point.
Bro, the guy
reference tracks have been coming out since music was invented and shit.
The guy that was on that stage that is a legendary rap producer, one of the biggest West Coast guys, did not write.
His movie, Straight Outta Compton, is based off of all of them people not writing. One guy was writing for everybody. There's a scene where we watch this whole thing go down. Oh, Dr. Ice Cube hands the song to Eazy and says, "Rap this." Like, you guys, this is a tale as old as time at this point.
Yeah, but the one of the biggest verses he rapped during that set was written by Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm. Nothing that he rapped up there, he wrote. So
no.
That's the game. That's all of our super chats.
Sure we have a bunch of humper chats.
Kendrick. What a guy.
Why you say his name like that? Like he did something to you.
Kendrick. Why I oughta. K-Dot.
We got some humper chats. We got one from John Paul Romero. He says, "Dot at the forum doing stuff, and Reg is here was the best super chat ever. Great episode of Dynamite, and I think Ken and Friends hurt Dynamite's cable rating. MJF's first match back, and it was commercial free. What do y'all think affected the ratings? I don't know. I think it was a mix of things. I think it was probably the fact that it was a holiday and some people were just outside. Some people were watching the Kendrick show. I don't know. It was a good episode of Dynamite. I don't think it was indicative of the show they put on. I just think that maybe it was just a lot of other stuff going on that people were not like glued in front of their TVs.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's all the extracurricular activities. The show was great. I the parts that I was focused in on, the matches are super hard. Like, there's a really great episode of Dynamite. I don't think it was like people watched the show and tuned out. It was just like they never tuned in because they were either outside. And 99% of the people on my timeline were talking about Kendrick. So it's like none of these people were watching the show. And I don't think it's because the show is bad. It's because we're all watching this Kendrick show.
It's
me included.
It's summertime. It's I don't know. But
and again, my ratings aren't registered. I don't have Nielsen.
I don't care about ratings, bro. I keep telling y'all that. But do you put any stock into this belief that Forbidden Door hurts the product every year because it's a very niche thing and it's kind of inaccessible for some fans?
Yes. Is the problem is I do, because there are a legion of fans that don't care about that stuff. There's, as someone who was covering Ring of Honor, and when they would have Ring of Honor on the show, people were like, what is this? I don't want to see this shit. And I know a lot, we see it when they announce a CMLL wrestler or announce somebody from New Japan. People are like, who is this? What is this? I don't want to see this shit. When they announced the Hechicero and Max match this week, people were like, why is this jobber getting the match? What's going on? So it's like, there are a big subset of fans that don't care about Forbidden Door at all. But I think with this dumb ratings discourse this week, I've seen a lot of people being like, well, they need to change. I don't think they need to change anything. I don't think that's, I mean, there's some things that I won't say anything. I don't think they need to change what the core belief and what they consistently do. I don't think that's the issue. Like, you shouldn't start all of a sudden doing this crazy, like, oh, let Chris Jericho do all this sports entertainment stuff because that's what, you know what I mean? Or let Matt Hardy come back and book blah, blah, blah. That's not what it is that's going to happen. Like, you got to, there's a different way to go about this. AEW fans are different also, as like, when it comes to viewing habits, like WWE fans are going to pull up Raw and SmackDown. Just like, that's just kind of how it has always been. It's a appointment viewing. You're probably going to watch it when it happens, or like on a service that's attached to that. AEW has a whole subset of fans that don't have cable. So a lot of them watch it illegally. Some of them only watch it through, like, there's all these like different ways. So when this rating, I'm like, ratings talk is so old and dead, because there's a gazillion people that aren't even attached to that. I've been watching wrestling for the last 15 years and not my rating hasn't been registered once. So what does that matter? I don't get it. Like, what do you mean? Nobody even talking about the ratings is involved in the registering of the ratings. So what are we talking about? Stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't put too much stock in this ratings talk. I know people care about this stuff. I personally think that Forbidden Door is still a fun event every year, and I know that it's something for the core audience. The core audience cares more. Some would say it through the mainstream audience, but I don't think that that means it should go away. And I don't think that the execution has been bad. I make the argument that this has been the best build for any Forbidden Door event since they started doing it. I think better job of introducing you to wrestlers like Mina Shirakawa or the guys from CMLL than they have before. I mean, even just getting the stuff from last night of Mercedes going to Arena Mexico and just getting a lot of this integration. We didn't get all of this stuff before. And so I don't know. I think it's pros and cons to it, but I wouldn't say that Forbidden Door is the issue.
Phil, are you there? I think you're there.
Yeah, I'm there. Did you hear the last thing I said?
No, it cut out on the last part.
No, I was saying I think there are pros and cons to it, but I just wouldn't say that they're like Forbidden Door is completely the issue here, and that's what's making fans not want to tune in.
Yeah, no, as someone, that's always the funny thing too, I think about the whole thing is like when they're talking about what could be done, what should we do? Should they change the whole structure? It's like, as someone who likes the show and is consistently entertained, I love the Forbidden Door build. I'm super excited about the show. So like as a hardcore, they're satisfying me. And again, I think I said this on the show a few weeks ago. AEW is never going to get 2 million views. I don't care what that, like, you could bring in fucking The Rock, and I mean that's crazy. You could bring in, like, I don't know, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and they're not going to do 2 million views just because, again, the viewing habits of fans are really different. And WWE gets 2 million views. AEW is going to sit in this 500 to a million range for a long time just because of that's the game. And I don't know if I don't think Forbidden Door is the reason. Like, even before that, they were like 7 and 8s, but it wasn't like they weren't setting the world on fire. I just think that's what the game is. There are things that AEW I think can do to gain some more fans and maybe bring some other things in, but I don't think like you can bring in anybody that's going to bring in 1 million more people to watch this show. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's a talking point to bring up, but this is the thing with the ratings. It's like that you'll get something like this where this big cliff or peak in the ratings happen, and then it'll just go back to normal next week. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think I am going to refresh and come back because
Okay.
for some reason I don't know. Hold on.
Big refresher. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, ratings. They're dumb, you guys. Who cares? Like they always go, well, what about their deal that they have coming up? And it's always like, well, they are top numbers. Like, you got to look at the whole thing as a whole if we're going to talk about numbers, because everybody's numbers down. I'll just say like this because Phil's probably going to come back. Everybody's numbers are down, like, as a whole. Like, the best sitcoms are doing 300,000. The best shows are like all kind of in this range. AEW consistently is in the top 3 spots. So it's like, if we're talking about that, then they're still doing at the top of the class. I want Phil's thoughts on Dave Meltzer saying that Dave's tweet coming out of him saying, oh, AEW's Dynamite's rating is real and it's not because of Juneteenth. And I'm like, okay, so now there's a legion of, I think Phil's gonna come back. How's that?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I was trying to refresh because I think whatever. It should be fine. I think what happened is when I initially signed in, because I just changed out my modem and had an issue with it, and so I also didn't have my extender on. So hopefully that helps.
Are you back? All right, I was just talking about the Dave Meltzer tweet of AEW Dynamite rating is real and it's not because of Juneteenth. And I was just like thinking, like, okay, so now, which might get us into another topic.
What a weird tweet.
I thought that was so weird. Now, because there's been a lot of talk about Black wrestling fans and their viewing habits, and this week, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that NXT is the Black show to watch. And so I'm like, okay, so like now all these legion of Black fans are attached to this wrestling product. I'm like, it's so funny how they like they put us in different when it matters now because it was Juneteenth, but like, why didn't it matter last week about the Black fans? It's just super interesting. But that leads me to the MVP stuff. You saw that? What a transition.
I did see this MVP stuff. Yeah, it's the same thing with the cookout thing. It's the same thing with the Juneteenth thing, where I think he's saying something from for a specific experience and perspective. And the thing is, when you put these things then in the hands of all wrestling fans, then it's like, oh, well, what does he mean? They're doing this for Black people. And that doesn't speak to personally how he feels as a Black man that works there. You can't then comment and say what he's saying is not true because you just simply don't know that.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they're talking about the Hurt Business, which is directly attached to him. It's not like he's just like, oh yeah, they messed up Ricochet, or they messed up blah, blah, blah. No, he was responding to, should they bring the Hurt Business back? And all of his responses were like, well, they don't want to bring it back. That's why it doesn't come back. They could have did this and they don't want to. And I don't even think it was, that's what happened when you like, I don't want to be like, and as a Black man, but when you just like kind of express your feelings and he's just like, this is what happened to me. I was in there. I know you could feel tones and you could feel messaging and you could feel all these things that are different than what people see from the outside. So he was in those meetings. He's been in the pitches. He's been trying to do this Hurt Business thing. And I'm sure the language and lingo around it was crazy. And he's like, oh, they don't want to do this shit anymore. So like Phil said, he's speaking from his personal experience when he says this.
Yeah. And how do I put this? Because I know some people are not going to want to hear this. And I said this a long time ago. That company doesn't care about Black people. That company doesn't love Black people. None of these companies care about Black people. All of this shit is they don't. And it's just like, I know from the outside, one side of the fan base, particularly Black people, have decided that this is my preferred wrestling. And so because of that, I've decided that this is wrestling for Black people. Boy, let me tell you, some of the people that work there don't feel that way. And you can't be upset when you've decided that that is the case for them. And they work there and they see the experience of working there. They know other people's experiences of working there. And so they're speaking from a place of, no, you can't just decide, all right, this is the company that gets it right. This is the company that treats Black people right. Like, I think they've done good things, just like I think AEW has done good things, but none of these companies are really for Black people. None of these companies really care about Black. That's the truth of the matter. And I know that some people feel a way about that, but that's just what it is, man. Like this thing is not geared for us. We've managed to make our corner in this thing. We've managed to make our impact in it. But this thing ain't for us, bro. And it's certain things that I feel watching fans talk about WWE's product that I very much don't agree with. But listen, man, y'all have y'all fun, man. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, have y'all fun. There's just things that I see over there that I'm like, oh, okay, y'all like that? Cool. I don't.
Yeah, as someone who exists in different sections of this pro wrestling thing and has been in spaces and has been in situations myself as a Black wrestler, as a Black wrestling fan, this is not. Still, we're in 2024 and I'm still like, man, there's still all kind of crazy things that happen consistently on a weekly basis that I'm like, oh, they don't want us out here, I think.
Here's my question, because I keep seeing people do this with NXT, that NXT is wrestling for Black people. How many black people are on the creative staff for NXT?
I have no idea. One.
I think there's at least one person back there that has something to do with creative process. But that guy's not a booker. That guy's not in a position. I mean, I belaboring my point at this point, but the voices and the people that can control this thing aren't black.
So how?
So how is? Listen, I know they do certain things that you guys enjoy. They bring the rapper on. They brought Wale on at one point. They brought Sexy Red on there. You know, they made the mid card title the place for black people, like a lot of wrestling companies did before it. That's not a new thing. You know, they every now and then they'll make a black man the world champion of the brand, but buddy, this is built by very white people and white people in their circles. This is, again, these things don't love us, man. Like they might catch a lick every now and then, and they can make some money off of us, but they don't love us, man. It's not for us, man. It's not. I mean, I would love to get more in-depth conversations from MVP about it, because there's so much you can take from the little bits of what he said, but it's not enough to really come from and get context and real perspective. It's something that I really would like to dig in with him and talk to him about. But I hate the idea that he can say things like that and immediately be dismissed by some people, because that's what wrestling discourse is right now on the internet. Don't criticize the wrestling I like. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It doesn't matter what the experience or perspective is. Don't criticize the wrestling I like. And hey, man, you're coming from a perspective of, oh, well, you had your time. You're an older dude. What do you expect him to just put you on TV? That's probably what some people are saying. But again, he's been there. There's a reason why he was sitting there crying when Kofi won the championship. God damn it! Like, don't get me started. Fuck. Like, oh my God. We're acting like we didn't see the last fucking 20 years of WWE. I don't understand why people whatever.
I think that you know, we see situations happen where we get our win. We get something. We get a chip. We get a little thing. We see Kofi, great moment. That's one of my favorite wrestling moments ever. We see these Carmelo and Trick happening in NXT. We see Swerve as the world champion. We see Athena, blah, blah, blah. We see these certain flashes of like, okay, this feels like there are moments that are totally geared towards us, but as a whole, this is not supposed to be for us. We have to find our spacing still in this space. I've been like in wrestling for fucking 20 years at this point, it feels like, and there is consistently fighting for positions, and there's only 2 or 3 positions for us, and still at this day and age it's a constant fight. Like, I watch old wrestling documentaries of like Rocky Johnson talking, or like Teddy Long and all these wrestlers, and that stuff that they talk about, I hear young wrestlers still saying that. So it's like, I want to be, I'm in when you guys are like, wrestling's for niggas and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, there's wrestlers that are for niggas, but wrestling, there's still so much that we need to change. That's what I say. Phil?
Just hold on. Want to not say anything because I feel like I'm gonna have to restart because it's getting really
yeah, I think you should just restart.
But before I go, I'm just gonna leave you with this because we have this conversation a lot about black people's space in wrestling, and you know what is for us, what company does the best job of catering to us, blah, you know, blah 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 blah. I just find it interesting, and all this stuff that MVP is saying. If you tell us, for example, okay, we're not going to bring back Hurt Business, and I could frame it in a way that it's almost like, okay, well, they're not doing your idea, and that's what you're upset about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just that Hurt Business is not on TV. Where's Shelton? Shelton's not with the company no more. What's Cedric doing? What's Lashley now? I think if you're not going idea, if you're not going to do something like Hurt Business that is meant to give these three black men something to do on TV and put them in a different light than you usually book them in, okay, what else are you doing with them? What are the Street Profits doing right now? Hey, quick question. Who's the last black wrestler that challenged for the Universal title? That's like the big title for the company. Who's the last person that was in the conversation on Raw for the World Heavyweight Championship? These are all the questions I have for people that would look at something MVP says, all right, but what are they doing outside of you then wanting to point to NXT saying they made a cookout joke, or they made champion, or they made Obafemi North American champion, or they did this on the main roster for all of these big things that are considered like the big accolades? What are they doing with black people in those specific spots?
Mm-hmm.
When if they given a black person the ball and really let them run with it? And this is kind of my beef with people that aren't giving Swerve the credit. When have they ever treated a champion of that company like they were the face of the company and they were in all of the publicity, all the commercials, they were the face of the brand? When have they treated any black man like that other than The Rock? Those are all the questions I have. I will restart and let you guys marinate with that.
Wow. Of course, Phil cooks when his screen or his videos messed up. That's like one of the best rants he's had in a long time. You guys, I think this is I don't know how to drop this loud out. I think that the issue is that like I said, I've been around wrestling for a long time and I've consistently heard things and we're supposed to just like accept it, and wrestlers mostly just like, oh, just kind of accept your spot, accept where you're in. But like think of all the stuff that Phil talks about. Like we get like little rewards and little nuggets and we'll get a championship right here and we'll get some of this. But when is like the person been like the face of the brand or on a truck or on the news promoting the wrestling event? And like Phil said, like AEW has made an effort to make Swerve that and Mercedes that, and there's all these kind of situations where they do that. And again, we say that, but they're not perfect. There's not like I'm not like AEW's for us, and I don't really feel like that. I feel like they do a lot and they have people in position that are fighting for us. But again, there's still a long way for them to go. It's like, I think it just feels offensive is like where I'm kind of the sentiment that Phil was giving up of like, I'm a black wrestling fan that's dedicated, that's hardcore, and I still feel like I'm not represented in a lot of stuff. Like I have to just like other things because I know that the black wrestling is not going to be exactly up to par with what I like. Like in WWE, I don't even want to get into it. I'm like, I'll let Phil cooked how he was because there's way more over there that I'm just like, and like, so there, like in situations, I know that there could be more black representations or black wrestlers in general. I just like go to bat for other wrestlers like luchadors or women's wrestlers or stuff like that, just because I know that there's not enough positions for that. So yeah, it just feels offensive when you're like, I'm not getting represented for nobody's the black, like I don't feel like any company's for me, and then there's all these people like this wrestling's for niggas, black, blah blah, and it's just like that's not really true for somebody that's in the trenches, especially somebody that's in the trenches for more than just one wrestling company, like independent wrestling companies, TNA, AEW, like all of them, MLW, not just WWE. And you see that there's progression. We've came a long way. There's a lot more world champions, but still, they're still constantly fighting. And think of like specifically Black women's wrestlers too. There's so much that they don't get. There's so many opportunities that they're not even a part of. They're not even talked about. They're not even looked at. And we have consistent conversations like this, and they're not even included. I think with representation like Mercedes, people might be like, well, what about Mercedes? And like, she's just such a like different, she represents such a different place than most Black women are even able to present. And I'm happy that she brings them up with her. But like, their place in this is like, there's so many Black women wrestlers that be like, I'm not feeling represented at all. I've had conversations with wrestlers like, shout out to like Brooke Valentine, who said that they still feel like in locker rooms that it's a man's world, that they don't get even listened to and they don't get put into positions that they should. And so I'm like, what about them? Wrestling's not for them. Like, they have to do their own shows. They have to be in their own spaces. They have to go the extra mile, kind of like how you have to do in regular life. So it's like, it just feels offensive, I think, is where we land. So when you look at something like MVP, who has been in WWE for 20 plus years, who has been in the trenches, who has presented, I'm sure, a gazillion ideas of stuff that he knows is of the culture, stuff that he knows would change, and has been shot down consistently, and has been, he's been given an opportunity. Like with Bobby Lashley, there was an opportunity, there's stuff presented, but that could have been better. They could have been presented more. Shout out to my homie Big E up here. He had a championship reign, and I thought he was doing a lot of stuff for the culture. He's on the Breakfast Club. He's outside, but still, same thing. What happened to the end of it? He played second fiddle to Roman half the time. He's all this. So it's like, yes, we get these opportunities, but we don't get enough. Just frustrating. It's frustrating is probably the biggest word, because there's so many. As somebody who makes a list of 500 Black wrestlers, there's so many great Black wrestlers, and there's so much more that we can get. So when we are presented with the idea that wrestling is for us, we just don't totally feel like it. That's it. Phil, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I had to completely restart. I don't know if that helped.
It still kind of the same, I think.
What is going on?
You had one of the best rants of all time too, in your videos. Just mess. I'm like, yo, Phil cooked with that video. Look at that. Something playing in the background. Now you restarted, you said. Yep. Gonna let Phil continue. Oh, there's some super chats. Maybe I'll get into those while Phil's trying to fiddle with his connection. Let's see if we have anything kind of surrounding this talk we're having right here. Yeah, let's go with Leonard Aarons III. Shout out to Leonard Aarons III. It's a very generous super chats. WWE really got Black folks to be okay with seeing Blacks in the middle of the pack and have marginalized what Black excellence truly stands for in wrestling. MVP is to be applauded for saying what he did about them. Yeah, see, there's like a legion and a subset of fans that kind of feel the same way that we do. Is like, yeah, we celebrate a lot of stuff, but there's still a lot more that we can do. And we've been kind of conditioned to accept the middle, or accept the just under what could be great, just because that's always kind of the spots we've been presented in. And playing second fiddle has been like, I mean, just getting the opportunity feels like enough for some Black wrestlers, some Black wrestling fans. So it's a crazy place to exist in. Leonard Aarons got a couple of them. He also says TNA did better with Blacks than most realize. Lashley got his major run with them, not WWE. Same with Ron Killings. TNA did better by Trinity than WWE ever bothered to. This is what it has been. And then killing it, Leonard Aarons III. The last one, WWE has been on that Drake shit for a while now. Feds like WWE, feds like AEW and TNA are truly for the culture, if you will. They've had Blacks on top for their company, for the face of their shit. Sorry about all the technical difficulties, you guys. Phil's having internet trouble, so I'm just talking today. I'm having a good time. Appreciate Leonard Aarons for submitting that. Yeah, it's like, that's also something that we don't really factor in is that these things all happen in the last couple of years. Like Kofi Kingston happened in 2019 and it's 2024, 5 years ago. And that was like after 60 plus years of seeing constant, not that, seeing things that I've been offended by, seeing wrestlers in blackface, seeing Vince McMahon say nigga, seeing all these crazy, like all these things we had to put up to even get to that moment. It is like, don't forget that stuff. Like, I'm happy where we are. I'm happy where a lot of people have gone, but it's still like a lot of trauma that we need to get over.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried restarting. I tried coming back in. I don't know what's going on. It's like I have a connection I'm looking at here, but the connection on StreamYard is different. I don't know what's going on.
That feels better.
Yeah. 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 I don't. I hate that. I don't want to diminish any of the stuff that they've done with black wrestlers. Of course, I think they've done great things with black wrestlers. But I just think some stuff, just think it's the usual. It's like we want so badly to be accepted in wrestling. We want representation so much that every little crumb of it that we get, we hold on to it and act like it's the best thing ever. But it's also like they can do better. They can, and it's I don't know. It's frustrating when you hear certain wrestlers say things and they feel a way, and then you have the fan base. And a lot of times, it's people that are not black. They're speaking up like, "Well, they are doing great things for you." Who are you to say that? Who are you to speak for his experience? Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you can't do that. And this is the main problem that I have here with representation talk in wrestling currently is that it's turned into the same thing with all things in the debate of my company does this better than your company, because it doesn't have anything to do with the actual representation. For some people, it's, hey, well, I love this company, so this company does it the best. Whether that's true or not, I'm just going to say that's the case because I fuck with this company. Yep. Your company doesn't do it because I don't fuck with them at all. Like, right. We've had from the very beginning, me and you as AEW fans, certain WWE fans saying that AEW isn't for black people or black people don't like AEW. When we've been two black people telling people like, I like AEW. But you have other people that are like, man, this company ain't for us. It's like, well, you've decided that. You don't speak for all of us. And that's why I have an issue with it. It's like, bro, I don't think any of these companies are servicing black people as good as they should. Right. But when you turn it into the tribalistic thing, it's the same thing I made the point with Trump in the election. Here's the problem when you politicize racism, because when one side goes up to the top of the mountain and says we're against racism, we're against it in all forms, the other side has to take the other side of that argument. Right. And so no matter what AEW does with black wrestlers, whether it's good or not, because that side has decided this is the side I rock with, I don't rock with your side, it's never going to be good enough for them. And it's the same thing for some AEW fans, because they pick this side of the field and they're always going to take this side. It doesn't matter what WWE does with certain black wrestlers. It's never going to be good enough for them. And so you're in this place now when the conversation about representation isn't about the representation. It's about my favorite company is better than your favorite company. And so it's fucked. It's cooked. It's and I've been saying that about a number of things on Twitter. That's why I don't engage in a lot of this stuff, because it's cooked, bro. It's over.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the real issues here. We're just talking about my company is better. Look at what they did. They crowned a champion over here. Look at what they did. They get a storyline over here, and it's like, that's not what we're talking about. Like, we're trying to, again, it's about the wrestlers. It's about the people down on the front lines actually having to deal with these pressures, actually having to deal with these spots, actually having to deal with this stuff. But it's the internet. But yeah, that's why when I was saying, Phil, when you kind of dropped out, I was saying like Phil and I think we feel like frustrated that like if you're saying that it's something you're saying that you're representing for us and we don't feel like that way. Like, you're not talking for me. It's the same thing with Stephen A. Smith. Like, you can't say it's for everybody when I don't feel that way.
The thing is, I think it's all preferences. I enjoy this company because it fits what I enjoy in wrestling.
Totally.
I enjoy this company because it fits what I enjoy in wrestling for these reasons. And that's fine. But when you put the representation stuff in it, that's where it gets a little bit murky because people are not discussing the real issue. They're discussing preferences, and representation, it should be about what's best for the wrestlers, what is the best representation for wrestlers, how are we getting our fair share in this industry.
Right.
And I think a lot of times it's not about that no more. It's about, oh, well, I love this company and I love what this company does with its black wrestlers, so it's doing it better than anybody. Is it though? Or is it just that's the company you like?
Yeah, that's it. And like, how would you even know? And like, the tribalism thing sucks because like there's a bunch of people that were mad at Swerve and like, oh, I don't watch that shit, blah blah blah. But then it's the same on the other side. Like when WWE crowns stuff in NXT, there's people on the AEW side that are like, oh, that's stupid, I don't care about that. And it's like, so one, I want to continuously say there are more than 2 fucking wrestling companies. I wish you guys would leave me alone. If I make a comment about a fucking WWE show, that doesn't mean I'm discussing AEW. I'm talking about pro wrestling as a goddamn whole. That's just a different rant on a different day. But yeah.
But again, I just think the way they're even presenting Swerve as world champion is so different than what we've seen at a major wrestling company. And it's not perfect. I think they can do things better as well.
Of course.
But I think my major gripe with any of the guys that they've made world champion over at WWE for the last few years is it never felt like they were the top guy. It never felt like they were the guy. It felt like, all right, this is a moment for them now. And even what I said before I reset and how it never felt like they gave anybody the ball like they gave it to Rock. And Rock kind of forced their hand because he was one of the biggest stars they have. But when you go back and look at it, look how short his reigns were. Look how often he lost to Triple H. Look how often he was not the biggest. He wasn't as big as he should have been. I mean, and even look at the fact, like his run at the top is shorter than a lot of people realize. Like if you go back and look at it, like the things we judge like on accolades now in wrestling, that wasn't a thing then, man. Like, because if that was the case, his runs were not that impressive.
Yeah.
Or his reigns, rather.
His I think Rock benefited a lot from Stone Cold being out. Like if Stone Cold never had a neck injury, like he would have had even shorter reigns. Like there was a lot of time, like you said, The Rock forced their hand of like, we want Stone Cold to be the guy, but this other guy is so over that we have to do something with him. And our real top star that we want to be is out with a neck injury or whatever he is. So let's do it for The Rock. But then, like you said, even the time when they were trying to make Rock the star, Triple H is right there on his heels, beating him or getting the one up on him. So he never even really was the number 1 top guy ever. I mean, because the whole time The Rock, Austin was right there on his ass.
Yeah. I mean, there are other things like, the only reason I say Rock because like you would say like out of any black wrestler that has like changed WWE the most, has had the biggest impact on them. I mean, the name of their Friday show is his catchphrase, bro. There's so many things that he changed the face of that company. But they don't let a lot of black wrestlers do that. They don't let a lot of black wrestlers ascend to that level and make that kind of impact.
Facts. Shout out to MVP.
Yeah, shout out to MVP. Listen, there are stories that we were very close to getting an MVP interview multiple times. And it was so funny when I saw this. I was like, boy, I don't know if we're ever going to get this interview.
That's the first thing I saw from Phil in the group chat. I didn't even know what he was talking about. I just saw a text that said, I don't know if we're ever going to get this interview. And I just laughed really hard. But then I saw the thing. I was like, oh, shit, we might.
It might be way after he's left the company. I don't know if we're going to get that one anytime soon, man.
I mean, at this rate, we might get it sooner than later.
But yeah, I think that it's important to support a lot of these companies, like Ashe, like a Fight Club Pro,
totally.
and that are trying to do things from the perspective of black men, because the two major companies are never going to get it 100% right. They're going to give us certain things that we love. They're going to give us moments, but it's never going to be 100% for us, because that's just not how it's built.
It's a giant corporation. I don't feel like any giant corporation is going to represent for me.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, and I think it's entirely unrealistic to think that that's the case. I also think it's entirely unrealistic to think that in this space that has been a very predominantly white space for a very long time, that's ever going to completely flip on its head and change. That's just not going to happen. I would like for that to happen, but it just, even from a business standpoint of who they're marketing to, it just doesn't make sense to gear their entire show to us, because that's just not their audience.
That's it. And it's not even, some of that is not even their fault. Like there's black wrestling fans, and there's a lot. It feels like a gazillion because we're in it, but there's still not really a lot of black wrestling fans.
There's a lot more black wrestling fans than I've ever seen.
Totally.
But we're still a minority in this space.
Still so not that many.
and that's what it is. And so I think we've gotten some big strides in the wrestling business, but again, neither of these companies are for us. They're not built by us. They're not for us. So got to be careful with certain things, especially when there's a black man telling you this and he is in the system. He's been in this business for multiple years. He knows what it is. We just got the clip this week of Booker saying why he didn't think he would be WCW champion. And he said out of his own mouth, I didn't think it was going to ever happen for me because I'm black.
That's the first. The guy was like, why didn't you ever think it? And Booker T thought for 3 seconds, and he said, because I'm black. Like, it wasn't even anything else. It was not. It wasn't any other. He said, because I'm black. That was it. And it's like, you can, as a black man looking into his eyes, Phil, you can feel it in his soul. You could we've been in those situations where I've been like, I'm not going to get that because I'm black, or I'm here. You know what I mean? And like, why do you guys ever make everything about race? Because it always is. That's just what the game is, man.
Yeah, it's just certain things, and that's why.
And if you would want advice about any from anybody in this situation, wouldn't you want it from MVP, who has been in the system for this long? Like, of anybody, right? Or Booker T?
That's just what it is, man. Like, and that's why, when somebody like MVP is speaking, and I mean, just think about how he got back over there. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He was supposed to be there for a Royal Rumble appearance. He did enough to make himself matter that they had to give him a contract. Then he was like, hey, wait a minute. I can do this for you. I look how much he helped Bobby. Like, Bobby was
he said, I can do this
water,
for
bro.
you. And then he did it. He got Bobby Lashley super over. Yeah.
Bro, we can get into the conversation of how, yeah, they made Bobby champion, but who were the two guys that largely helped Bobby Lashley get over? Leo Rush and MVP.
Yep. Yep. 1000%.
Like, when you look at it from the outside looking in, I can see where he might be looking around like, all right, we look like we were heading in a certain direction when they did make MVP champion, and then we went to E, and like since then what?
I can't even think of a contender. Like, where's Lashley? Is Lashley hurt?
I think he's injured.
Okay.
But even then, like, how long was he on SmackDown and never got a title shot, bro? Like,
nothing.
I never got the match against Roman. Like, bro, they haven't put anybody in that conversation for that belt that Roman held for his entire time as champion other than E. And E was already on the other brand as champion, bro. Like, right. He had to go cash in on the other champion. Like, you go over there. You're not beating Roman. And then when it's time for you two to have your match, Roman is going to beat you.
And even Big E's thing of, I'm going to cash in my briefcase tonight. That whole, like, all of it just seemed like on some other shit. I don't know.
It just, I mean, even when you look at just like the lineage of those belts, and like I said, only one black wrestler has challenged for the Universal title. Trivia question, does anybody remember who that was?
Only one black wrestler has challenged for the Universal title.
Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston challenged Seth Rollins in
Oh,
a
that's
match
right.
after he won the belt. That was the first and last
And
person
only.
to challenge for that belt.
Damn, dude. It's been a bunch of years at this point, Phil. Like a whole bunch.
That is pre-pandemic.
Not one? Oh, yeah, because Roman was all a pandemic, and then, yeah.
Just think about it. There's none.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So
current world heavyweight title picture right now on Raw. Any black people in that title picture? Anybody? Just say, man. I think they've done great things with like Bianca and other black wrestlers, but I think when you look at specifically what MVP is speaking of and how it doesn't feel like they've really done anything with a lot of black male wrestlers on the main roster to push them into that upper echelon. You got a point.
a couple of them.
Again, he would be the one to know.
Yep. Like he would know way better than Phil and I because he's out there.
But they've got guys. They've got guys that they can build up. Hopefully, this leads is something. The kind of black wrestlers they like to push though.
Like my boy Obafemi is gonna do his thing.
Yeah,
they like that. I made him fake an accent. You gonna do another article on it?
Nah, man. I don't want nobody yell at me, man.
You're not trying to get in that again.
I don't want nobody yell at me, man. I live a very peaceful life, man.
Oh man. Yeah, and again, what I said earlier is like we don't talk for anybody either. Like there's your black wrestling fan experience could be way different than ours, and we're not speaking for anybody as a whole. We're speaking for ourselves.
Yeah, and again, I just want to reiterate because I know somebody will possibly listen to this and goes, "Oh, you guys are homers. Oh, you defend everything that AEW does." I think AEW could do a lot more with black wrestlers as well.
Definitely.
I think that they're currently doing well with Swerve, but they can do more. They can always do more.
Yeah, totally.
There's missteps they've had as well that I didn't understand.
And like behind the scenes at every company, like how much representation is there behind the scenes at every company? Name one.
How many black executives work at WWE? How many black people are in creative over there? And that's the thing, again, where if you make it an AEW thing, I know there's a black executive at AEW.
I know him.
I know there's a black person in creative as well.
Yeah, know them. Yeah. But still.
But this gets to my point earlier when you say that, okay, that company isn't for us at all. And it's like, is that really the case, or is it just that you've decided this company is for you and you're a WWE fan? And again, that happens on both sides of the debate. And that's why I feel like the tribalism thing has really ruined most real conversation around wrestling.
There are no real conversations anymore.
No, not online. It's over. It's done. Big Dunzo.
It's over. Just bits.
Oh, it's all bits. It's all yelling at the cloud. It's all tribalism. All minds is better. Engagement farming, whatever, what have you. Sensationalist videos and what have you. People making content that is not about the actual issue. It's just just certain surface level shit just to get engagement. And when I said at the time that it bothered me that certain people were doing that, I remember that certain people got mad at me and unfollowed me. I didn't forget that, but I won't jump into that conversation because it still bothers me. And you people, again, it's cool to talk about black issues when it's for a certain engagement, but when it's actually fixing the issue and talking about the meat of the real issue, then we don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
No,
I'm about to tweet.
No. I want to get some bullshit off in some video clips and create fucking bullshit like All Elite Black or whatever, All Elite White people or whatever. But listen, man, I ain't like that shit. I'm sorry. I ain't like that shit. I thought it was corny. I thought it was super corny.
It gets me irrationally mad. Like I hate
And it's just certain things that if that's the conversation and we want to have real conversations, I don't want to do it by doing sensationalist bullshit.
No. And if we're fighting for wrestlers, let's fucking fight for them. But why are we fighting each other if we're doing it? Shut up. I can't. It's just a sick world. Sick, sad little world.
Don't get me in that either of how it bothers me that internet wrestling fans think that they can make or break these things. And because of that, internet wrestling fans think they make the wrestler, and they think if they want to, they can break the wrestler. They think that I can decide, I can put this out about you and ruin you. I can put a narrative out and run with it and ruin you. I don't like that has become a thing that internet wrestling fans do. It's fucking corny to me. I wish people would fucking stop it. Because I just seen this with the Jamie Hayter thing this week. Like, why are we digging up old shit? But this is again where we're at with the tribalism thing, or where we're at with just like, oh, y'all like this wrestler? Oh, I don't really care for him. Let me go find a reason to dunk on him. Like, cut it out, bro. Like, it's stupid.
I didn't see the Jamie Hayter stuff, thankfully. She said, nigga.
No, somebody went and dug up some old stuff because that's what people be doing. She ain't been on TV, ain't tweeted nothing, but you going and digging up old shit. For what?
Lord.
Nah, because that's what wrestling is. I think I can find a reason to dunk on things. I think I can find a reason to, make or break a wrestler. Wrestling fans on the internet think that they have more power than they actually than they actually have, and they think they know more than they actually do. A lot of y'all don't know nothing.
That's what that's like. Everybody being able to tweet their opinions out and people giving them validations. Because if you get one validation from somebody you think is worth it, you're then, oh, fucking, I don't know. Bill Birmingham told me one time, not Bill Birmingham, that's crazy that I said that name. Fucking Demolition Axe told me one time that I was a cool blah blah blah, so now I'm somebody, and that's like legit how it happened. Like, oh, my friend is fucking Barry Horowitz, so I'm an insider now. And it's like, that's not really. You're just a person on the internet. That's okay.
Listen,
why nobody would just want to be people on the internet anymore, Phil?
Why people not cool with just being who they are, man?
What is that?
Listen, man, I listen. I love Steven Universe, man. Great cartoon. And then, at one part, Steven sang the song, man. Why don't you let yourself just be whoever you are, man? It's cool. You ain't got to, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta be somewhere different. Just be here. Why don't you just be who you are? You ain't gotta try and be an insider. You ain't gotta try and act like you got info that you ain't got, bro. Just be who you are.
Whack, dog. Like,
just stop, dog. Look it up. We're in Tangentville now. Like,
we are.
Look, just stop, dog. Just be who you are, bro. Cut it out.
Tangentville is really funny. We got wrestling to talk about. We should probably move forward, I think. But yeah, y'all know. It's hard out here, you guys. That's really like, I don't even want to come on here and try to be like, I'm like, being a black wrestling fan is still the hardest thing in the fucking world. Trying to get people over that you like that are black is still the hardest thing in the world. Trying to get opportunities for wrestlers that aren't on TV that are black is still the hardest thing in the world. So that's really the point I want to get over.
And it makes it hard for us to do that when you have somebody or certain people doing it for a look.
Exactly.
And that's why, again, I didn't like certain things.
Right.
Because if it ain't for the wrestler, who you doing it for?
Who you doing it for? I don't need this look. I don't want that. I don't want the clout at all. I want you to talk about the wrestler. Don't talk about me.
Are you doing it for the wrestler, or are you doing it to bash with company? Because if it's to support the wrestlers, then listen, man. But again, that's why I say all the time, hey, man, support the wrestlers, not the company. You don't have to like some things that the company does, but you can always support the wrestlers and what they're doing. Yeah. Or don't. I don't know. If you don't fuck with the wrestler, don't fuck with the wrestler.
It's easy as that. Like, you can not like The Learning Tree, but I like The Learning Tree. I think it's really good television.
That is absolute cap.
Phil. The Learning Tree is great. Like, anytime The Learning Tree is on, I'm just like,
you cut your TV off?
No, I turned it up louder. I want to hear it.
Definitely turn the channel energy for me.
No. Keep it on. Turn your friend's channel. To call your friend, tell them to turn on the TV because the learning tree's on.
Yeah. Cappington. Big
Me?
Cap.
Who, me?
We've got a bunch of humper chats.
We do.
Because in the midst of internet issues.
Now you cook though, Phil.
Let's see from Tony P. Kendrick's jersey now hangs from every raster in the U.S. and Canada. Hall of Fame pettiness for winning the award several times, hating hard with the pop out concert by not letting up off that nigga's neck.
Yeah.
Got some more from Tony P. Says the city of LA sea-walked and Hoover danced on nigga's grave, then dug him up, pissed on the body, reburied him, and repeated that shit 6 times. That set was basically a whole diss album. Safe to say, Cali will not have any Drake shows for his next few tours. Yeah, I just don't see Drake going to LA and it being a good thing for a while.
And I want you guys, I want to reiterate to you guys, I tweeted this. I've been in situations where Bloods and Crips were in the same place and people died. So this is amazing to see. There was real life, like people that have killed people danced on stage together the other night. So
yeah. People that usually are not in the same place without violence happening.
Exactly.
On the same stage. It was a beautiful thing to see, man. It wasn't just the Drake hate thing. It was very beautiful what Kendrick did towards the end, but the shenanigans of it also were very, very funny.
Shenanigans are hilarious.
And I mean, I know we're all having fun, but I do very much feel uncomfortable knowing that that kind of energy is being put out there of you can't come back to LA. And
I don't like that.
Because that was a very real thing. Because listen, man, if Biggie had not gone back to Cali and he just stayed put, he might be still here. And there's so many things around that. Like, I'm not saying that Kendrick wants to make this violent, but there's certain language that's being around it that I'm not the most comfortable with.
Yeah, that's where it gets. We can go back to the shits of what we're talking about earlier with land and culture and sets and things. And like, if you like, Kendrick could be done, like that could have been it on Wednesday. Like he could have been like, I'm finished here, this is my final straw. But like all the people attached around it, all the young crazy niggas, they're not done with this. They were talking about they might shoot the Not Like Us video this weekend, and that they had to beef up security because you don't know what the fuck's gonna go down. You know what I mean? And that's how it's gonna continue to be. And I don't want that energy, dude. I just wanted some raps.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I hope people continue to keep this just wax. I don't want none of that.
We want unity.
Unity. Okay, Tony P says, the only bad thing is that I had to miss it live before a good reason I am proud about. I went to Dynamite Wednesday with my nephew, and to my surprise, it was my first live wrestling show as a wrestling fan.
Wow.
No, he said it was his first wrestling show. It was his nephew's. Sorry.
Oh, nice. That's it. I know going with those situations are always fun. Like your uncle that is like the homie takes you to an event like this, and you guys saw a really dope Dynamite. There was a lot of fun in-ring action, and I'm sure, I don't know how young your nephew is, but whatever that age is, it's like, yo, it's lit. So shout out to y'all.
He says he said he enjoyed it. I hope he truly remembers it finally. His favorite match was the All-Star Tag because, to quote him, everyone went hard. I am extra happy because as an Afro-Latino child, he got to see a good representation of African Americans and Latinos on this show. As for the wrestling, all companies had strong shows this week, even if ratings were down for one. Bad faith people did what they do. But I have to say, it was maddening seeing that Dave tweet dismissing Juneteenth and the Dot Show. Yeah, you know, and I don't think that was Dave's intention, but
no.
it just looked wild. When that tweet went up, I was like, that looks crazy.
I know that Dave's going off like historical numbers, and he's like, Juneteenth has never been a factor. Why would it be today? That's really what he's going off. He's not going off of like it wasn't. Nobody watched Kendrick Lamar.
This is an older white guy that was not watching the Kendrick show, he's not. It's like it's a context thing. He's not. He's not of the culture to have that kind of conversation.
Exactly.
People in his circle were not watching because of Juneteenth or watching the Kendrick show. And I'm sure he's looking
about Brian last week on whatever he said on his the cookout thing. So they don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was looking at some numbers that we're not paying attention to. I know there's other stuff but that's all stuff that I personally don't care about, and that's stuff that he's made a living covering. So. Right. It's just we're just having different conversations. That's all.
That's it. I still honestly don't even know if I know people were outside. I just don't know if that played a role. Like, he's right.
Yeah. It just seemed like it was kind of an anomaly. Like I said, I don't know enough about ratings or what actually changed it to give a solid answer. I think anybody that is trying to act like they have a solid answer is being a bit disingenuous. Like, all of it is speculation, really.
Totally.
Let's see. He says also, Tony P says, Semper Vive has to be exhausted to be the only white guy there with some understanding of black or pop culture at Figure 4 wrestling. I mean, yes, because Semper Vive, I think, doesn't he have like a Patreon joint with the black wrestling guys that he does?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's tapped in. Joe Pearl watched and enjoyed the concert. That should tell you the impact of Dot this week on all pop. What you trying to say about Joe Pearl? Like, man, if even Joe Pearl was watching it, like,
it was a big moment, man. Like, even if you don't like hip hop and you just like fucking great concerts and moments, like, a lot of people are tuned in that don't even know a lot about the beef,
Yeah. But I think that's also that speaks to him not showing up anywhere while the music was coming out. He was just putting out music. This is the first time we've seen him publicly since any of the music dropped.
Right. And like you said, people are like, what is this guy going to do?
What is he going to do? What is he going to say? And I think,
who's he going to bring out? Is he going to bring out Wayne? People really thought he was going to bring out. I'm like, he's not going to bring out Wayne, you guys. Come on.
Bro, if the craziest thing I thought of was Cole getting on that stage. If Cole would have got on that stage, I would have been like, yo.
I never thought about Cole that whole time. That would have been nuts.
I definitely thought, like, what if Cole shows up? And that definitely feels like a Cole thing to do because he's been trying to be a mediator.
Totally. But nah, he was out somewhere doing yoga, trying to get away from this shit.
Definitely somewhere riding his bike on a beach or something.
I'm sure Kendrick was like, hey, you can pull up if you want. That would have been crazy as hell.
Bro, if Cole would have showed up, that would have been wild, man.
But I appreciate him not. Like, again, Cole, right move, brother. In hindsight, sorry. We was tripping when you bowed out. You made the right move, I tell you.
Yeah, listen, man. It's cool. I still don't really mess with that grippy verse like that, but I'm waiting for the new music, bro. I still like the last EP, man.
Me too. Now, Schoolboy Q was like, look, we're going to be sea walking on this guy's grave. I don't think you want any parts of this, Cole. Cole was like, I hear you, bro.
Bro, Cole getting on that stage and him doing Not Like Us and doing the line, you did, Cole, I don't know why you still acting. Like, bro. That would have been crazy.
Okay, one last thing on it. Does Drake respond?
No, he should not.
This is it?
I really think Drake should get low for a while and just like live his life, man. Just like come back when you got like a real hit. Come back don't just drop music for the sake of dropping music, because a lot of people
Lucy's. Nah, you gotta drop.
A lot of people don't want to hear from you right now. I think you should like get low. Like, enjoy your life and then come with music when you know you got some shit. Like, don't just come back to just drop for the sake of being like, I'm still outside.
No. But like, if he stayed out for 6 months and came back with a hit, it'd be fine. That's what he needs to do. But I don't think he can. He's gonna come back in 2 weeks. Like, because remember, Academics is tweeting a couple days ago, new Drake coming in. Like, it doesn't need to, dude. You probably should keep it. Probably should keep it.
It's all right.
I just don't feel like he will, though, Phil. Like if I'm in his position, I'm probably gonna drop. Like if I'm in his position,
drop. Just go. That I think about that all the time about how he was taunting this guy for weeks. Like when you gonna drop something, like it's almost like you didn't really have anything to drop. And man, when he started dropping them records, it's like, all right, maybe he did really have something. Like it feels like that guy that was sitting at the table, like, nah, draw 4. Like you ain't got no draws in your hand. All of a sudden he started throwing all these draw 4s down. Like, nah, maybe he has something in his hand, bro. It's cool.
he wasn't bluffing. I think that was real. Yeah, I think that might have been the worst mistake Drake made out of all of it. Like, no, not putting out the songs, not doing that. Saying to drop was the worst part. You know what I mean? Taunting this guy into destroying you. It's crazy. Hey, come beat my ass. You're
All
not
of
gonna
these,
come beat my ass.
all of these things he was saying too, like the pictures of and the kids at the show, like
Day free at the top of the day free at the top of the executive producer list or whatever. I'm like, this guy is just diabolical.
Tony P continues. He said, now that that's out the way, the real monster showed up to WWE last night. He looked good. I want to see Jacob versus Big Gunt. Both Braun and Ilya not attached to Bray like some are. But no, he said not attached to Bray like some are. But happy for the people that were. Love the ending of Raw. More WWE murders, please. Yeah, I think WWE had a pretty big week. I think the best thing about wrestling currently is we're out of that lull period right around WrestleMania where all of their big storylines come to an end, and then they got the draft. So you can't really do anything until you get all of these people on their rosters where they're supposed to be. And now it's like stuff is actually happening again.
Yes, thank God. It seemed like that period where we came on the podcast for like 3 weeks and it was like nothing was going on. I'm like, bro, what is happening here? Yeah, this week felt like what it should be immediately after WrestleMania. This felt like that energy instead of like it's after WrestleMania, let everybody have a breather. No, you need to go right into it, and I think they got back into it.
Yeah, and I think it's also because they had to draft like not long afterwards.
Yeah, they got to figure that out.
So the timing was kind of weird, and they always have that kind of lull period right around WrestleMania anyway. But we got Clash of the Castle. Some stuff happened. I thought it was an all right show. Of course, it's the same with a lot of international shows where the crowd really makes it worth watching. Some of the matches and the stuff happening is really made better by the atmosphere around it.
I forgot we potted before the show last week, so we haven't talked about it. Our predictions weren't the main event.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first match. I think Cody has had mostly good title defenses. The finish was kind of it was kind of anticlimactic. I didn't really like it, but I liked a lot of stuff happening in the match. I liked AJ beating on him the entire match. Him trying to go for the phenomenal forearm and getting hit with that chair and then flying back to the table. I thought that was very, very funny. Mama Rose was like, I'm not going, and gave him the 3 slaps. Like,
I love at the end that like I hated the finish because it's like kind of makes AJ look kind of weird. But then like they finish it, and then Cody looks over to Mama Rose like, should I do it? And she's like, yeah, kill him. And then he ends up killing her anyway.
Violence. Violence. Then he like goes out of his way to hit him with the stairs anyway because and I like the story of that no, I let my guard down with you before when you said you were going to retire, and I was trying to have a happy moment with you, and I'm not falling for this again. No, I'm hitting you with these stairs. Like, get out of here. But I thought it was a good match for what it was.
Yeah, I think these two guys worked really well together. Those 2 matches are like, yeah, this is kind of what we expected them to do. Like they cooked. Like I think Cody needs more opponents like AJ. I don't know. There's not a lot of people like AJ, but I thought that like the intensity and the match types were like perfect for this.
Yeah. I thought it was a good way to open the show. Crowd was very hot for Cody Rhodes. This guy is still insanely over.
Very over.
AJ got a very good reaction. And I think that's the best thing about all of this, that they've given AJ more to do. He's come off as a legitimate contender.
Still AJ Styles, man. Don't forget, like, bro, y'all got AJ back here. He needs to be in position.
Yeah, his heel work has been great. We got the tag match, which I thought the tag match was fun. People kind of poo-pooed over certain parts of it,
Yeah,
kind of unnecessarily. I thought it was a bit
course.
overkill.
Yeah.
But the big
There's some
shocker is,
overreacting for sure.
yeah, the big shocker is that Bianca and Jade are no longer the women's tag champions. The Witches went into their home country, and they are your new tag team champions. I thought it was a really good moment for Alba Fire. She had a rough weekend going into that, and you could see how emotional she was. I was looking at how long they lingered on it, and just her going to the crowd and like hugging her family and friends that were there. I was like, that was a great moment for her. Hopefully, her and her family are doing well with everything that's going on.
Yeah, insane situation to her that happened to her. So shout out to her for getting this moment. I think there was that's when I started to get nervous about the main event. I'm like, oh damn, they gave the women the big moments. This is not a good sign. And so that was great though. I thought that of course they were overreacting. Jade slipped on a springboard, blah blah blah, all this kind of dumb stuff attached to it. And the lingo around Black women's wrestler I talked about a little bit. We saw it in full force here. I thought it was interesting how they didn't really tease. Like I thought that the Bianca and Jay thing would play a bigger role in why they lost, and it was just kind of like, oh no, they won. You know what I mean? It wasn't like teasing the breakup as much as I thought they would.
They're doing something interesting here, but I see what they're doing. And I don't think they're teasing it because they're still laying the groundwork to get you to think that Bianca's going to be the one to turn heel. And I'm
gotcha.
not buying it. Did you see that exchange between her and Bailey last night on Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
They're creating this scent between her and Bailey to make it seem like she's going to be the one that goes too far. She's going to end up turning heel with the Bailey stuff. But I don't believe you, WWE. I still think that Jade is going to be the one that turns. And I think all of this is a red herring. I wouldn't be surprised if they also win the tag titles back. I don't think that they're done with them as a tag team.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt like. I didn't feel like they were done telling the story with them as tag team champions yet.
Yeah, even if they're not champions, I don't think they're done with them as a team. I think that they have good chemistry. I think they're a lot of fun to watch together. That tag maneuver that they do to end the match looks good.
It does.
And so
visually, not a lot of wrestling people in any company that look better than them together. So
yeah, so I definitely think we're going to see more of them. We got a bit more of it last night on SmackDown, which again kind of leads to my belief. Even the way Bianca lost, I'm like, they really want us to believe Bianca's turning heel.
They want to act like she's getting frustrated, but yeah, as a character, I'm like, I don't want to see a heel Bianca. So. And Jade as heel just makes more sense. So I see where they're going with this.
Yeah, it's just the way what they're doing here, and you can tell like Naomi is the one that really gets along with Bailey. Like she's like, no, that's my girl, and then Bianca's like, nah, I don't like her. I've been trying to tell you I don't like her. Like stop, I don't like her. Like stop trying to make this a thing. Like
ever since you came back, you've really been trying to get her over, and I don't like her. I'm never going to.
Stop bringing her over here, bro. Like.
Naomi's like, no, she's cool though. Don't worry about it. She act different around me.
Stop bringing her over here. I keep trying to tell you, bro.
Oh yeah,
you're going over her crib and play cornhole. Like, I don't stop.
Damn.
But yeah, I thought that match was a lot of fun for what it was. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable was good as well. I think the storytelling they did with the Otis stuff with Gable was really, really great. When Otis finally turns on him, buddy, that pop is going to be massive.
They are stretching it. I thought that was going to be it. I thought the time on Raw was going to be it. I'm like, okay, they're really that. Yeah, when it finally does hit and Otis hits him with that World's Strongest Slam, like people are going to go. Yeah, hammy. Yeah, I like it. I thought it might have been a little too overbooked, but I thought that the match as a whole was really fun. WWE needs a new finish. Their finishes are just.
We've seen it too many times, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, come up with a new one, you guys.
Yeah, it's certain stuff that I'm like, all right. But I thought there were very clever things they did in this match to keep us engaged in that storyline with Alpha Academy. I do think that they should have pulled the trigger and put in the belt on Chad Gable. But I think they're waiting to
What
get
are they
him.
waiting for?
I think they're waiting for him to start his alliance with the
Creeds.
Creeds
Mm.
and to like effectively get away from the Alpha Academy. I think because the Alpha Academy like has that stigma of just being a comedy act because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think they're waiting for him to just go full on and be like a heel stable. And so at least I'm hoping that that's what it is.
Yeah, right. Like you guys got to be doing something because I thought that Clash at the Castle was the moment, and I'm like, well, because you don't want to see continuously like, oh, Chad Gable's in another Intercontinental Championship match that he's gonna lose, and you don't want to be attached to that. But if they're building to some big heel win from him for SummerSlam or something like that, I could see it.
Yeah. The other part of the story, of course, is that not gonna offer Chad another title match now because he lost. Like he kept saying at the end, Sammy was like, "This is it, no more. You lost." But I think story wise, he's gonna find a way to get back in the title picture. I do think that he will eventually be Intercontinental Champion. At least I'm hoping that's where we're going.
Gotta be some kind of conclusion to this. Like if it's all that he goes heel and he wins nothing, I'm like, I don't know if that's really the way to go about this.
Yeah, the women's title match was what it was. Chelsea Green is hilarious, bro.
Chelsea's great.
One of the greatest characters they got over there. I thought it was really funny that she came out and her like killed everything and she was out there hyping up Piper, and then she got kicked out. And she came right back down with the same outfit and everything. Just put the mask on like we wouldn't know who it was.
I think we just saw you out here like 10 minutes ago. You still look the same. I thought the match was fine. I like the finish a lot though of Bayley hitting the crucifix driver and having to hold her down. Like I thought that was a really creative finish.
Yeah, I thought that was very smart. I thought that I immediately was like, yeah, word to Riho. That's how Riho wins a lot of her matches with the crucifix bomb, where she kind of like uses her ingenuity and stuff to beat a bigger opponent. So yeah, I really like that finish. The main event was a very, very good match. I enjoyed the match on the whole. That finish, man. Both of us were predicting that Drew McIntyre was going to win here.
Yes, sir.
And I thought that going into the show, midway into the show, I was like, oh, I don't know.
I was worried after that women's tag match. I'm like, I don't know. And then after Piper, I was like, something about this doesn't feel good for Drew for me.
Yeah, and there were certain things that I was thinking because we already knew that Punk was in Glasgow. And I was like, Punk is going to play a part in this in some way.
Exactly.
And so my immediate thought was, okay, I think Punk is going to try and screw him out of the title, but it's going to backfire. And I tweeted this. I was like, I think the visual of him recreating all the stuff from Money in the Bank 2011 and jumping in the crowd and running away and blowing the kiss at him and running away with the belt. I think that would have been a fire finish in Glasgow.
That would have been sick. Drew runs through the crowd with the belt and Punk plays the Vince role of like, hey, come back here with my belt.
Yeah, I thought that's where we were going. So
that was pretty good. Damn.
So the finish we get, credit to them. I think the camera work they did on it was great.
Yes.
Having him slide in, and we just see the ref sliding in from behind. But then when the further the camera kept going back, I saw the Jordans on the feet. I was like, wait a minute. And then I saw like the back of his head, and then the camera cuts to him doing the same exact pose from the meme that Drew was using for the shirt. Yeah. I thought that was all very well done. I thought that was all funny. Then he hoofed him in the balls, and that's when I was like, all right. The rest of this is kind of wonky, just like having
like the Punk reveal was great, but then after that I was like,
yeah, the rest of it in execution, I was just kind of like, all right. And of course, you know, the Glasgow crowd hated it. A lot of people on Twitter hated it. But the wild part about this is there were CM Punk chants throughout the show. And I thought when he cost him the match, I was like, oh, he's going to get booed out of the building. And then he like proceeded to get like a smattering of boos, but he also got like a bunch of CM Punk chants. I was like, okay. And like even like that clip of him like leaning on the barricade and all those crowds were like, yeah, CM Punk. And I'm like, but he just cost your guy the
And that's why in the press conference, the first question, somebody was like, how do you feel that Scotland hates you right now? And Punk was like, I felt like a lot of them kind of like me. I don't feel like as bad as you saying.
So we got to get into so everything about this Punk thing. I can see other people being furious at this. Boy, did I think a lot of this was very funny, man. Because they did a lot of things that played off of Punk's last few appearances in AEW. They did a lot of things that played off of Brawl Out on the 1 year anniversary of Collision.
Yes, yeah.
So first of all, like just everything he did, and him coming in there and saying, "Hey, man, I thought you guys hated me here," and I was just like, "Where did I hear him say that line before?" Interesting. And then just a lot of things he did afterwards, a lot of stuff he was saying, the way he was hyping it up, like, yeah, I think I'm cleared, I'm going to be back. And he went and did the press conference. This is his first press conference, correct me if I'm wrong, since Brawl Out.
Yep.
Came walking in with the box of donuts, eating sweets, and I was just like, this all looks very familiar. he was hamming it up. That clip of him saying, "Buddy, you gotta get that fantasy booking shit up out of here," crying, laughing, bro, crying.
But there were a lot of people that did not like that.
I thought it was very funny. I'm sorry. But again, you know, I know some of this stuff is gonna bother people because he's a very polarizing guy. Totally. I thought it was very funny. He proceeded to do all of these things, and then after the press conference was over, after the press conference was over, we cut back to the panel, and they were on there arguing about how dare Punk do this? How can he do that? How are you gonna let this guy do this and get away with it? And Barrett was like, this guy should be fired. And I was like, listen, when they take their shots over there, sometimes it could be very much like, oh God, why are we doing this? This was very clever. There were so many things they did in this that I was like, that's kind of funny. Wade Barrett is very much poking fun at Tony Khan in this and saying, well, how dare you say that you're a representation for wrestling and change in wrestling? How can you bring that guy back here? He's got to be fired. And he was totally making fun of Tony Khan being a bit wishy-washy after Brawl Out and then bringing this guy back anyway. Again, that's going to rub some people the wrong way. Yes, but sir. I thought that it was clever. I thought a lot of things that Punk did in that press conference were very trolling like he always does. But I thought a lot of it was harmless and funny. When he said that he was going to be cleared and he said, I'm going to be in Chicago, I was like, oh, Drew is going to kick his ass. I knew it immediately. I was like, Drew is going to fuck him up. I was like, even when he came out Monday and he was saying, I quit, I was like, I don't believe you, Drew. You are going to be in Chicago on Friday. I see where this is going.
Now, a lot of people off the backs of that match are like, well, we always thought that this match didn't, or this feud doesn't need the championship. So my question is, does Drew McIntyre ever get crowned the champion?
So this is the issue, and this is back to what I don't like about the finish and what I don't like about the build to this at all. You already told us going into this match that you have the challenger set for SummerSlam.
Gunther, yep.
And so you kind of murkied the water a little bit.
Coming up like, the whole time, I'm like, I don't know.
It's like I don't. Something about this is odd, and it's like I personally think Drew versus Gunther is a better match.
Same.
But it kind of feels like they're telling us in so many words, like Gunther's the guy, he's next up. But we're not quite done here with Priest either.
Right.
It's just such a weird little fine line they're trying to dance around. Yeah, and so I thought going into Clash of Castles they could go both ways, but I was thinking the whole time, like, there's no way Drew goes into Clash and loses twice,
Two
right?
times in a row. It's like, you guys cannot do this. And they did it, Phil. They did it.
I do think that was the wrong call. I think they should put the belt on Drew. I get people
behind that. It being like, like even afterwards, and they're like, oh, well, Priest. I'm like, no, like they did it to him twice, dude, in the main event. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the funny thing about all of this is, again, in CM Punk lore, the thing that I thought about in all of this is the podcast when he's on Art of Wrestling, when he was explaining him dropping the title to Rock and how Vince was telling him, like, no, you're going to be the hottest heel in the company, and don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And he's like, well, how am I going to be fine? What do I have going up? You're going to get Taker at WrestleMania. And he's like, but I'm wrestling an old guy. Is he going to be at work on Monday? And I immediately thought about all of this stuff going into this because it's like Punk is now in a situation that he hated. He's on the other side of a situation he hated because now
he's
it's like
the Undertaker now.
Because it's like now Drew didn't win the title there, and your argument is, oh, well, you're still one of the hottest heels in the company, and at SummerSlam, you're gonna work CM Punk. So it's like, oh, you're gonna work this older guy that may or may not work weekly television. And so I thought about all of this immediately, and I thought it was really funny.
That kills me, dude. I'm not gonna wrestle that old guy. And Drew's like, I want to be world champion. They're like, no, that's fine. You don't need to be world champion.
No, don't worry about it. You're gonna be the hottest heel in the company. And so all of that stuff is very funny. It's very ironic.
Damn.
But I do think like this feud is gonna do well. Of course.
But where does Drew get crowned his moment at? Because it's Gunther's time.
I don't know. I don't know. And see, this is the worry I have here is that if he doesn't win at Clash of the Castle and you crown Gunther at SummerSlam, you're not gonna make Gunther a transitional champion.
No
Where
way.
are you gonna get back to Drew getting his title match? When is he gonna get the win?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It feels like this was the time to do it.
This is it. Like if anybody was going to be a transitional champion, at least make Drew the transitional champion by giving him the big Clash of the Castle win. Then it doesn't matter.
Now, of course, for all context reasons, we're not supposed to feel bad for Drew here. Drew is the bad guy.
He's the heel.
Drew got in the Elimination Chamber in nefarious ways. He cheated to win the Elimination Chamber match. And then he had his moment at WrestleMania. He won, could have just rolled off into the sunset. He was a big jerk about it, and he lost his belt. He could still be champion right now. So we have no real reason to feel bad for you. He is the bad guy here. But just looking at how all of this looks, the guy just resigned. And
it looks crazy.
It's everything about it just looks crazy. Like he's on the poster for Clash of Castle. You're promoting this whole show around his homecoming. Bro, he was coming out, had this big pop. At one point he's walking around like taking it in, and you can see him.
The documentary they made this guy look like a superstar, man.
Yeah, so he's walking in, you can see the crowd, he's taking it in, and you can see he's like totally tearing up. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, yeah. He's like trying to hype himself up and get out of it because like, wait a minute, I'm a bad guy.
I'm a bad guy, yeah.
And so all of this stuff is happening. So I'm like, this should be his crowning moment. This should be I didn't get my WrestleMania moment. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get what I'm supposed to get here.
What happened here?
But at the same time, I understand the story they're telling from the perspective of he is a bad guy. And he's done all of these things to get this moment because, I lost my moment last year at Clash of Castle. I'm owed this. I'm entitled to this. So yeah, you're not supposed to feel bad for him in character. It's just so many things around it where it's like your fan base is telling you though, we kind of want him to win.
Exactly.
And so you don't do it. It just looks crazy all around, man.
There's so many. I was gonna say you don't get a lot of moments like this, but like they start.
You're not gonna get that moment back.
Yeah.
Bro.
Like if they go next year, they can't. I don't believe in Drew McIntyre again. I'm sorry.
You're not gonna get that moment back. This feels very much like WrestleMania last year, where you had the chance that time to give Cody that win. And you just should have done it. And there's like, I know you're just like, oh, we'll kick the can down the road. There's a story we're telling here. Yeah, I feel you, but bro,
it's gonna be different. It's not gonna hit like it would.
It's not gonna hit like this. Now, listen. As a Punk fan, did I think a lot of this was very funny? Did I get my tweets off and get all my jokes off in the midst of this? Yes, I thought it was a lot of fun. I laughed very hard at it, but I still think this was the wrong move. I think they should have put the belt on Drew.
I think they could have still did all the stuff with Punk, but like you said, then Drew still overcomes it. You know what I mean? Because like, what?
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have what? Gunther just fucking destroy Priest and then move on. I'm just
here's the funny thing about that. Given other stuff that happened this week, I wouldn't be surprised if Priest is not champion at SummerSlam. Bro, if they put that belt on Rollins, bro.
I forgot your boy did pull up, man. What about that?
They put that belt on Rollins, I'm gonna cry laughing, bro. Oh my god. And they could easily do it.
They're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do it. Why wouldn't they?
Because the thing is, the story Gunther has been telling for over a year is, I am the workhorse champion on this brand. You were trying to do that in name only with the world heavyweight champion, but that's really my seat until I was ready for it. And I was going to beat you until, you had your knee injury and Priest ended up winning the Elimination Chamber match. That was my match to win. I was the one that was going to beat you. He came out and challenged Rollins before Royal Rumble. He said, I am going to win the Royal Rumble and I am going to beat you. And so I think there's more of a story to doing that match at SummerSlam than a Priest matchup. And there's certain stuff to it, like, I mean, even if you just get into what the world heavyweight title means, I could see them wanting Seth to have 2 reigns early on and rack up some numbers with that belt.
Yep.
I could easily see Seth Rollins winning.
And it just makes bigger for the story, and it's going to be a bigger win for him beating Rollins. Because, like, if he just throttles Priest, like,
yeah, if he just throttles the guy that used the cash in to get the belt, and not the guy that was for better purposes, like the heart and soul of Raw for a long time, the guy that's like, I am Monday Night Rollins, this is my show. It means more to beat Seth, just like it meant more to cash in on Seth.
Exactly.
And so I would not be surprised if Seth beats him at Money in the Bank.
There's still one more. I'm just gonna say that there's still one more pay-per-view before SummerSlam, and that's sorry, Priest. So Rollins is back? Like, is he good?
Yeah. So I thought the follow-up to Clash at the Castle was a lot better than Clash at the Castle itself. I think coming in this weekend and opening Raw with Rollins showing back up, everybody was surprised to see him. I immediately laughed. I was like, man, this guy and Jon Moxley just will not stay at home.
Dude, stop. Sit down.
Like, bro, he went and got that knee surgery. As soon as he was ready, he was back, came out with his white cocaine swag. I was like, oh, we're back. And so, of course, that's my guy. I was happy to see him. Pyro's jumping off. Big, massive pop for him. And he immediately was like, I want my belt. Like, I was like, yes.
I want my belt.
Wake it up. Wake that up. So he is challenging. He will be Damian Priest challenger at Money in the Bank in Toronto.
I didn't know they announced the match. Damian Priest is dead.
That's why I was saying that. I thought you knew that all this time.
Oh, he's dead.
The match is announced.
Rollins come back. I didn't know they announced the match. Priest.
Yeah, I just think out of the options, I think Damian Priest has been fine as champion. I like Damian Priest. But if you ask me, what would I rather see at SummerSlam? It's Seth Rollins versus Gunther, of course.
Do you think it's the lingo around it sounds like Punk is going to be ready?
Yeah, so
sounds like they talking like that.
So they did this bait and switch with us, which I knew was a bait and switch. The second he said it in the press conference, he was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to talk to my doctor and hopefully show up on SmackDown and tell you guys that I'm cleared. And I was like, if it was just that simple, I think he would have been like, guys, I'm pretty close. I'm cleared. I'm just going to get the confirmation. And so when he was phrasing it that way, I was like, oh, this is all a work. Again, Drew is going to fuck this man up. When he was saying that, I was like, Drew is going to fuck him up. And so, yeah, but I think opening Raw this way with Rollins, because Raw has been struggling, and then closing the show with the Wyatt stuff, I think it definitely gave Raw the shot in the arm it needed, because Raw's been kind of...
That's not great.
It's kind of been boring. Like, it's been stuff happening, but a lot of it has been like, all right, let's get to it.
It's still 3 hours. When it's 2 hours and 15 minutes into that show, you're like, bro, oh my God, stop.
Yeah. It just felt like more than anything, not just the lull from WrestleMania, but the injuries and all the free agency stuff really hurt Raw. And so getting one of the biggest stars back in Rollins and then getting like a fresh storyline, because, buddy, I am ready to move on from this Judgment Day stuff.
Ooh, I like everybody in that group. I like everybody involved, but with the stories they're telling, and it feels like we've been telling the same story for the last year. I'm like, all right, we got to do something different with the Judgment Day, you guys.
Yeah, I am ready. But biggest story out of Raw we got was the debut of the Wyatt Six.
Six.
I thought this was very good. I thought this was a very good way to close the show. I was immediately intrigued by all of it. I feel like I was watching basketball for most of this Raw, but I did watch this entire segment. I think I watched it live, or at least I watched the entire segment right afterwards. I thought this was a really good way to introduce them. I'm sure people are gonna have their same complaints that they always have with the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Ooh.
Either it's for you or it's not for you. And I thought that this was great. I thought they did a lot of really good things here with the reveal. I just even starting it the way they did, having the visual cue of Nikki crawling out of the darkness to the lantern. I thought that was very poetic. And then her giving a reveal backstage that all of this stuff happened backstage. It very much looked like when Ivan News destroyed the command center. um, I thought all of that stuff was cool. I thought the reveal of Bray was great. Not Bray, but Uncle Howdy was great. And he turned around, and there's so many like Easter eggs you can find, and it's like what Uncle Howdy was wearing. He had one of the gloves that Bray used to wear when he was the Fiend, but instead of the Harm and Hurt, it had Bray on the front. We got to see Rowan back in the Rambling Rabbit mask. I think Mercy the Buzzard is supposed to be Dexter Loomis. Huskus the Pig is probably Joe Gacy. Of course, Nikki Cross, Abby the Witch. 5 members. I'm assuming we're probably going to get a 6, maybe Alexa Bliss. But I've also seen somebody say that the 6th member is probably just Bray in spirit. He's the leader of the group in spirit. And I kind of like that idea as well. But there's so many things I really like about it. Like even when you just pick up why certain people are who they are. Like Joe Gacy makes the most sense as Huskus the Pig, because when you think of like what that based off of, Husky Harris going to NXT and reinventing himself and coming back up as Bray, like of the guy that went to development and did this thing and came back up. Joe Gacy had a very like Bray Wyatt-esque character as well. There were a lot of cool touches in his gear and his costume. Like he had on the wristbands and stuff that Bray did with the Muscle Man dance when he was doing the Firefly Funhouse. And I think all of that kind of Easter egg stuff and lore, if you're into that stuff, you're going to like it. If you don't care about those things, of course, you're like, get this spooky shit off my TV. It was really good to see Rowan involved in this, man. As somebody that was a long-time collaborator with Bray, as somebody that is also mourning Brody and Bray at the same time, he had the skull on the back of his jacket that was Brody's old mask when they used to do the Bludgeon Brothers thing. I thought that was a good touch. He had the Bludgeon Brothers hammer with the help on the front. If you also want to get into, again, the characters they pick, he makes the most sense out of as Rambling Rabbit, because Rambling Rabbit in the Firefly Funhouse was the character that Bray Wyatt used to smash a lot, but he stayed loyal to him. Think of all of the times that Eric Rowan tried to leave the Wyatt family and go face, and he always ended up coming back. So I really like the idea of him being Rambling Rabbit and having help on this thing, because he cannot seem to get away from this Wyatt stuff. The guy left the company and came back to be involved in some Wyatt stuff. So it's just little touches like that I really enjoyed. I got a bit emotional at the idea of Bo picking up Bray's lantern and raising it. Like, he's still here. He still lives on in what we're doing. I really loved it, man. Now, the thing with Bray things, as always, is it usually starts very good, but the follow-up, what is the follow-up going to be?
As a tribute, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Great. Rest in peace to Brody Lee. Amazing. So we got super chats.
Do we? I don't know.
I don't want any parts of that shit, Phil. You know it. 0%. Like, as a tribute, amazing. I love that they paid. I love it. But beyond Monday, I never want to see it again.
Yeah, I thought they executed it very well. I enjoyed it.
People died. Why are people dead on this? Somebody had somebody's brains were blown out, Phil.
I don't know if their brains were blown up.
Well, what the hell was that? There's blood. It looked like it.
Well, listen, we wanted blood and wrestling again. Yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. It did really well. Right out the gate, it had like 2.6 million views on YouTube last time I looked at it. And again, that's the stuff like, if you're into the Bray stuff, if you're one of those fans that loves this stuff, like, it's gonna appeal to you. But if you're like Reg and some people that never liked any of this stuff, it is not going to be for you. Like I said, I thought it was a hot way to bring Raw back, to open with Rollins and then close the show with the reveal of the Wyatt Six. I thought it was great. I thought it made Raw interesting again.
Yeah. Unfortunately for them, SmackDown, I think, came and had the better, like, their ending.
Yeah, I thought SmackDown was better, but SmackDown also did something very similar. Like, they opened the show with CM Punk. And had like the CM Punk stuff in Chicago. At one point he ran out and I was like, is he going to jump in this crowd?
Yeah, do not.
So he ran to the barricade and immediately stopped. I was like, yeah,
don't be playing don't even be playing like that.
Let's not do that. But I thought the opening segment was really good. The stuff with him and Paul was good.
Oh yeah, Paul Heyman coming out and crying essentially and being like,
please
help me.
Please save me from these people. And he's like, just take me with you, man. I don't want to be over here. These guys are so crazy.
And that reveal, when Paul said that, when Punk was like, what do you want from me? And Paul's like, please take me. And the crowd went ham though. Like, they would be into that pairing again. Chicago. You there? Oh,
I'm there. But yeah, I thought all that stuff was funny. I thought getting Paul and Punk for the first time in the ring together in Chicago was dope.
Pretty good.
I enjoyed all of that. I think the Bloodline coming out and Punk immediately going, no, I'm not worried about Punk. I'm not worried about you guys. I would have been if you were led by Roman, but you're not Roman. Who are you? You and the fake Usos? I'm not afraid of you guys. And so I thought all that was good, and also the subtext of it that I was thinking, I was like, well, you should be afraid because I knew Drew was going to show up. But then I also very much like the idea that he came out there with all the confidence in the world, like, hey, yeah, I'm here with my boys. I'm here to beat you up. And all the time, Punk doesn't know that Jacob is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this could have, either way, Punk was going to have a bad night.
He's about to get beat up, yeah, regardless.
One way or another, he was going to have a bad night.
All the ops pulled up to Chicago ready to fight.
So, I really liked the opening segment. I liked that Cody came out without music. As soon as he came out through the crowd without music, I popped immediately. I was like, it's like Collision. It's like early Collision.
The first thing I thought is, I don't want to have this conversation again.
But yeah, I mean, go figure. I think the stuff they're doing with the Bloodline is working as well.
Yeah, me too.
I thought the segment right after that where Solo was talking to Paul in their locker room, and he was like sitting like right on top of him. He was like, "So you want to leave? What are you saying? You want to go? You want to go somewhere?" It gave me very much like, I was like, man, get Paul out of this abusive relationship.
Yeah. Bro,
free Paul, man.
Hey, I want to be saved. It's crazy out here.
Free Paul. But yeah, I thought all that stuff from that segment was good. And then before the main event, where he's talking to him, and he was like, bro, you're breaking all the rules. What are you doing? Roman told me, like, you're supposed to stay away from Punk. You're supposed to stay out of this. You're not supposed to actually challenge Cody. You're just supposed to keep him in check. And he was like, man, I hate to tell you, but Roman's not coming back. And Paul's face, it very much looked like when your parents got the divorce and they're like, your dad's not coming back home.
You have that realization of like, damn.
It very much looked like he was like, "Oh shit, I'm stuck here, man."
Oh, this is it.
But all that stuff was good. The main event, of course, I knew that was a red herring coming straight
They
out the
didn't
gate.
switch. Why they do this to us? Why they
Because
advertise it the
you're
whole time?
because you're getting Solo Cody at SummerSlam, probably.
I was hoping that since the Big Oos debuted, that they switched the match, maybe. Because they can't, dude.
I
Phil.
hope so too.
Solo cannot main event the show.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got this to play out. You know, the baby faces cornered Solo. And we got the big debut of Jacob Fatu. I thought the execution of the debut was really good. Jacob looked great. He looked dynamic. He looked like he slimmed down some.
Been in the gym. He been in the gym as fuck. Yeah.
He looks incredible. I thought all of his moveset and everything looked good. The splash through the table, boy, the air he got on that man, like he looked incredible. I was very happy for him, man. I think he's gonna do very well over there. And I mean, to what you're saying, he already looks like he outshines those other guys, man.
Remember that story came out a few weeks ago. They're like, they're worried that Jacob's gonna come in. Yeah, he did it. No, that fast. When Solo first debuted, I think they were trying to give up like an Umaga vibes or like that kind of Samoan savage type thing. This was that. Like this was like you saw Jacob and you're like, oh, this fool's crazy. He's gonna kill somebody. And like knowing his history, knowing what he's been through, and knowing what he'll put somebody through. Such a great moment, man. I thought that he really shined. He looked menacing. He looked like the Bloodline has been pretty hot, like with their new additions, God and all that. But this felt like, oh shit, this is something.
Yeah, this was great. And as the week of West Coast is back, this definitely looked like his Samoan werewolf had to pop off and show some niggas like he showed up,
baby.
He was out. He was out there. He had the shirt immediately. Shirt is already up on Fanatic.
Let's go. I have definitely not drank Hennessy and smoked weed with that guy that just debuted on SmackDown last night. He's in WWE now. It's a long time ago. So, but yes, I'm so happy for the Big Oos.
Dun, 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 dun.
I remember talking to him while doing these activities and being like, hey, are you ever going to go over there? And him being like, of course. But when they, there's some things that we have to get through. There's some obstacles that I have to get over. So I'm so happy that he got over those obstacles, man. The Big Oos is in WWE now. Well deserved.
Yeah. I thought this was a really good debut for him. I was wondering for a while, like, why are they waiting so long? And, I was going with the theory at one point that maybe he was going to show up with Roman. Maybe he's going to be a part of the baby faces. Boy, seeing this guy with the heels, I was wrong. He belongs over there. He's a menace. He deserves to. He's over there.
Standing next to Tama. Yeah, like I think that's where he needs to be at. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This was the right call. I do still think that they're building to the War Games match, but I'm now wondering how they're going to build the babyface team. Maybe it's going to be Roman and the Usos and Big Sam Zayn.
I mean, it's because Sam and Jay have still been kind of telling that story that they're homies for a long time. Would make a lot of sense.
It makes sense. Maybe
because the younger bloodline won't be ready for that. Like there's Zilla and what's the other homie's name?
Yeah.
There's another guy. He used to be in MLW with Jake. I can't remember right now, but there's a couple of other family members that they could be involved, but I don't think they would be ready.
You talk about Lance, right?
Lance, yeah, that's Lance. Yes, Lance is his name. I don't think they would be ready for that spot. You know what I mean? Like to be next to Roman and the Usos, like you need somebody big.
I think if you want to go full in with the babyface turn for Roman, I wouldn't be mad at him burying the hatchet with guys that he has shown that he really hates. Like the idea of the Bloodline team being the current 4 we know, maybe with Hikuleo added to make 5, and then the Bloodline other team being Roman, Usos, and Kevin and Sammy. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yo, the babyface Bloodline might get dragged though. Because
Yeah,
Heel
but
Bloodline got some savages over there.
bro, those 5 guys getting together is gonna get a massive pop.
Definitely huge. When Roman comes back, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
It's gonna get a gigantic pop.
bro, there was a part of this show at one point where Paul Heyman brought up Roman and he started getting a Roman chant. I was like, a Roman chant in Chicago? Bro, I was there. I was there at Money in the Bank 2018 when the beach balls were happening during Roman versus Jinder. That guy got damn near booed out of the building.
So they haven't. My question is, Roman's gonna come back. They haven't done the full knock Roman out. Like they haven't done the beat down yet, but he's already gonna get a massive babyface pop when he comes back, though, right?
Yes, I'm assuming that's happening at SummerSlam.
Like I feel like he's already like the fans are already like he's a babyface. We don't care. As soon as he comes back, he's our guy. Which is kind of wild to like. How did he get there so fast? It's crazy. Well, not fast, but it's.
Well, I mean, they already wanted to cheer him, and what they're doing with Paul as well, it's helping.
It's setting him up. Yeah,
it's setting it up, and they're just planting more and more seeds every time. Like they're setting you up to see that Solo is really like doing all the stuff he's not supposed to do. It's like it's like we're watching Flash right now, trying to lead the 5 heartbeats. Like you're not Eddie Kane. Like come on, dog. Like. I know you think you can slide into this spot, but you ain't that guy, man.
Shout out to the big homie Jake, though. I'm really excited about that, and I hope they change. I hope he gets the match at SummerSlam because that would make a lot more sense than Solo. But yeah, he's gonna outshine them, and I hope they don't try to put a muzzle on him. I hope they let him completely do his thing.
Bro, if we turn it on and he's doing the growling and stuff too.
Come on, man. They can't help themselves, Phil. That's the issue.
You know they want to do it, bro. You know,
because at least they chilled on because remember a few weeks ago when Tama did that, whatever he was doing when he was being really weird. Remember that?
Yeah, that was. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, he wants to do the growling too. Like when Tama started growling, I was like, okay.
I kind of got that energy last night. At one point, they zoom in on Jake's face and he's like doing like the big and I'm like,
bro,
careful. They will make you know what they will do to you if you go too much.
There was a part of somebody put like a clip of them walking backstage after the show went off the air, and like Sam and like Paul Heyman's like hunched shoulders, he's like all sad walking in the back, and all the Bloodline is walking in behind them, and all you can hear is Jacob behind him going, "Hell yeah!"
That's the energy. I'm like, Jacob is so different than everybody else too, because he's like a thug. You know what I mean? Like everybody kind of their culture, they're Samoan, there's all this stuff, but like Jacob is like I said, Hennessy and like blunt. Like this guy's a real nigga on some shit. Like he's like,
you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Sorry.
Gotta be careful because some people really think
I didn't mean like he's black. I mean like he's just on some real shit.
I'm just saying, people think, you know.
They all have black lives though, Phil. They're about to get us out of here with the show today.
This will be our last episode.
This is it, I think. Hey, we've had a nice run, I think.
Well, we did.
Pretty nice.
No, they thought we was gonna be up out of here when the other guy left. Man,
they thought we were done.
Yeah, it's.
They didn't want to see us win. Khaled has been real quiet with all this Drake stuff too. Where's Khaled at?
You ain't heard nothing from Khaled, bro.
He was going crazy on the Drake stuff. He ain't said one word.
Yeah. Oof.
That's SmackDown. What did we get all into? Jake. Oh, AJ and Noah. That's the thing too. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Those other news. We got AJ going to Noah.
WWE's making all these international deals. I don't know what's going on.
Willing and dealing. Willing and dealing.
I do like the kind of the things behind this of like Noah was like, we want AJ Styles, bro. We know who that is. And I just love that of like, just like I was saying earlier, don't forget, dude, this is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. And like he gets mixed up in the roster, but like he is still AJ Styles, and like he is still wanted and he is still sought after all these years, and we still want to see him in big matches.
Yeah. I think this is cool because I definitely thought after Nakamura did the match that was it. We probably weren't going to see any more connections, and I definitely was looking around with people like, "Hey, this is the real Forbidden Door" and all this other stuff, and I was like, "I don't know if we're going to see this again." Sure showed me because AJ Styles will be wrestling in a Noah's show coming up. Let me get the date for it in front of me.
What do they call it? The prohibited portal or whatever?
Oh my god, bro. Prohibited portal.
People are so funny.
Prohibited portal.
The prohibited portal.
Come on,
great
bro.
match too. Like if it, bunch of people that are on the Noah roster, like who could AJ Styles wrestle? I think they picked one of the best guys for sure.
Yeah, Marufuji is definitely going to get a really good match out of him. That is coming up. It's going to be at the Budokan on July 13th, so it's not too far away. 3 weeks.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that's really dope. I love to see stuff like this. Really excited for things like this, and EO going and having the match at Marigo with Utami. Good for AJ. I think this is great that he's kind of getting to do all of these things because he's got to be wrapping it up soon.
I would think so.
And for a minute there, I was looking around like, what are they doing with this guy over there? Kind of feeling I'm having right now with Finn Balor of like, what are they doing with this guy? Like, this Judgment Day thing was cool, but this is Finn Balor. This is one of the most influential wrestlers of the last decade. Like, get this guy. Come on, man. Get this guy in some big matches. Get him in some big storylines. Like, what?
They got him in it's the same AJ Styles thing. Like, dude, that's Finn Balor. Like, I don't think you guys know who's back here. Like, he could still go and cook. Like, he could still go and be world champion at another company, and like, it wouldn't be crazy at all. Like, you guys don't really understand. And the Judgment Day stuff, I get kind of mixed up because it's like most of the time he's in the main event. Like, he's featured, but just like not as much as he should be, or not the way that he should be. Because he kind of plays like, I don't want to say second fiddle, but he's kind of like a background character also in the Judgment Day also. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any super chats in the mix of
Yeah, we got a bunch of super chats. I haven't read one in a long time.
well, hold on. In the mix of my internet issues, I did not run our ad, so we did not run
yeah.
That run an ad, so we're gonna get into super chats in a second, but hit a word from our sponsors.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, here to tell you about BetOnline AG. The highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, 25-plus year track record, safe and secure online environments, payouts in minutes, the fastest in the industry. You can bet big with their high limits and rebet functionality, the earliest line, so odds open before the competition, the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit, and we're talking on everything. Wrestling, they got it. MMA, they got it. Boxing, they got it. But hey, you know what? I know we're Fightful. We don't just live for that. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, racing, esports, anything you can think of. Not only that, this is exclusively where Fightful gets our lines from. If you hear us talking about lines on a prediction show or on our post shows, it is always from BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can. BetOnline.ag.
Of course, BetOnline.ag for your betting needs. Please bet responsibly. Hop into these super chats. I know we've got humper chats as well.
The soupies, yes, of course. Thank you guys for submitting. We kind of just let them go to the end because we started just cooking on a bunch of things. So that's it. John C says, Phil, keep cooking on your great rant earlier. Stan Mural says, this was the talk fans needed to hear. Thank you for that. Neuroban says, it's pretty nuts to think about Swerve's comments about Triple H now. Remember those? Remember that? Remember they were all on his back for saying that? Hey,
Remember,
your personal situation. Why are you saying that? I don't. Anytime you like, dude, this is my thing.
remember when you used to have to eat the milk without the cereal? Remember that? Remember your mother used to come in and just pretend she was a tree? Remember that?
Well, Tony P's on the other side, I think, not on the Humper Chats. He's on the Super Chat. Says, to add to the Phil rant, when it comes to The Rock, WWE hyped up his Samoan side more than his black side, and that never sat right with me. That shit hurt.
They did. But
Yeah.
that's also like how they were marketing then. Because we saw for a long time that they did not really know how to market to black fans. That has absolutely changed. But at that time, yeah. No.
Like in 1998, we weren't getting no Sexy Red on there or any like the equivalent. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't know how to market black women that way. We weren't getting. I mean, we heard the stories from Jazz. We've heard numerous black wrestlers that were over there, and how they didn't get the marketing that a lot of wrestlers were getting, but they were champion and they were hot, and they just weren't getting the promotion.
Still talk about Jazz not having an action figure, not having any merch. Like it's the thing.
Crazy.
Jay Stone said the feds are watching, so they keep in Phil's Wi-Fi janky. Wrestling Cointel Pro is real. Phil was spitting there. Was like, nah, let's mess this guy's stream up. He going too hard. Wrestling Cointel Pro, I'm dead. Bergov said they haven't treated people of Asian origin well either. Japan, China, India, etc. All the Indians I've seen have been bad guys who hate America. Yeah, the foreign heel thing, they still do that. It's crazy.
All the time. All the time.
Like, you guys are still doing this foreign heel thing? You hate America? I'm like, dude, I live in America. Like, I don't know that much either. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, man. That's wrestling. Wrestling has made racism and xenophobia a big part of its marketing tactics for a long time, and that has not changed.
Yep. I just always think back to WrestleMania 7. I think that's pretty early around the time I started watching wrestling, and the whole Sergeant Slaughter fighting against Hogan and Iraq and all. I'm like, what? I'm just a kid. It's crazy. But yeah, it's built off the backs of that. Leonard Aaronson III says the 2 world title system does not work. Going all the way back to 2001, they find a way to put the second title on a black guy. Rock, King Booker, Bobby, Kofi have never been the guy. You're still there. Ravon F2 says, I feel the same about Latino wrestlers. Unless you're betraying Mysterio in a rehashed angle, what are you doing?
Yeah, I thought that they would have more for Santos at this point. I felt like when he came up, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be hot. And it's not.
He wasn't on the show at all last night, huh?
No, he was there.
Was he?
Didn't he come out to confront somebody? Well, he came out to confront LA Knight, right? Because they're gonna have to qualify.
Oh, that's where he was. I'm like, I thought I didn't see him. I'm thinking of Andrade.
Yeah, we didn't see Andrade, but because Escobar came out in that segment, and then we got the Logan Paul stuff after that.
Yeah.
Whoa. I hate this theme song so much, man.
It sucks so bad. Live Glass says, happy Graps Ratting Day. Oh, I can't say that. Wish me luck. Good luck.
I think he's saying it's his wedding day.
Oh, wedding day. Graps wedding day is what you're trying to say. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Good luck with that.
Congratulations. If I'm reading that correctly, it looks like he's saying it's wedding.
Congrats, and I'm sure this is a very stressful day, and the fact that you took some time to even show love to us, we really appreciate that. So good luck out there, bro. That's dope. Johnny One says, who's got the most lit ring entrance right now between Trick Williams, Jey Uso, or Swerve Strickland?
It might be Jey.
I think it might be Jey. Yeah,
it might be Jey. Just like with all the presentation of it, of like, just like initially with them Fireflies, boy, he got up out of that conversation. He was like, "Oh, yo, y'all can have these Fireflies. I don't want no smoke.
They're all yours."
But no, just that presentation initially of the Fireflies, and then just all the people,
Him having the
rocking with
people, I
him.
think, is what separates him. Yeah, when they do the big fucking
Yeah,
thing,
it might be
looks
great.
crazy. Yeah, visually, probably Jay. Yeah. Ronan Mike Clip says everyone was talking about Penta's contract coming up. What do people think they're going to do with him in the Fed? He would be right next to Andrade with the other Mexicans.
I don't know. And I'm sure they would love to have him.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has presence like Penta. Like, it would make a lot of sense. They legit probably would just throw him in the LWO though. Like, not even kidding. Like, I'm not even joking. He would 100% be in the LWO. What it is, the third says the 69 guy got his Cali privileges revoked in the most vicious way imaginable. Amazon paid for Drake's lyrical soul to be violated by an entire state.
Now, whoever posted that clip of Sue Surf from the Joe Budden podcast where he was like, "Man, we done invested in some Pyrus. We're all in. We invested all our money in Pyrus." Hilarious.
Free surf. Oh, and the show, we did not shout out Amazon for a flawless ass stream. Was your stream working? Like, the whole time that shit did not drop out.
It initially it wouldn't start for me for some reason, but once it started, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. Jay Stone says Bianca was noticeably annoyed losing last night and last weekend. Think there are subtle hints at a turn. Maybe the swerve is her betraying Jade. Yeah, we got a little bit into that earlier.
I don't believe them. I think that's what they want us to believe. I think that's a red herring. I don't think she's actually going to turn.
Yeah, Jade being kind of, you could tell by Jade's body language and how she talks, like what time it is.
Yeah, Jade just works better as a heel too.
That's it. Jana says people are sure Gunther wins at SummerSlam, but I am not. Could Gunther not win?
Maybe he won't, but I
can't see it. Yeah,
but see, even if he doesn't win, that leaves even more to my belief that Seth Rollins could end up winning the title at Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
because if he doesn't beat Rollins at SummerSlam, I think they're just going to have a series of matches, and he is going to beat him.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of like, what's happening like later? Like, where's Survivor Series going to be at? Where are they going to be at during this time? And I'm like, what's Rollins' story going into next year? Like, what's his big thing? Punk still?
I don't know. He's been basically separate from Punk while all this Drew McIntyre stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Huh.
That was the other thing as well that he did in that segment that also was tied back to some things that people said about him when he was like, "I'm going to make sure that guy's never champion again." I was like, "Oh, where did we hear this rumor before?"
Really funny stuff. Will Chisholm says, I think Drew wins Money in the Bank because he hates it and because he got to cash in twice, so it works with his gimmicks.
I think he means gimmick.
Yeah. I don't like it that much, honestly. But who else is gonna who is kind of primed to win if not for Drew?
I don't know. I don't know. That's coming up.
It's coming up very soon. Dream Ninja 77 said they did a great job putting over Jacob. Corey said Solo, what have you done? And Cross put him over on X Big. Chelsea been cooking in the ring.
Yeah, I think Chelsea's been great. But yeah, I thought the other cool thing about not just how well they put him over on TV, but you could see online how many wrestlers were happy for him, how many wrestlers that have had experiences with him on the indies, and how long he's worked to get to this point. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he's really, really good guy. Will Chisholm also says, I think the whole Megan Bain stuff is weird. She's working the same day EO is working Marigold. Yeah, there's kind of a lot going on that day.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with the Megan Bain stuff because it seemed like she was still signed.
That's what I thought. And then a new thing came out that says she's a free agent. So I was under the impression that she had a contract in AEW, but I guess I was wrong.
Sometimes we'd be wrong about things, man.
That is true. About things in AEW. See? Will Chisholm says Finn been Finn too busy trying to smash Liv.
What?
Finn Balor in storyline.
Oh, okay. I was confused because I was like, what?
Because they're trying to recruit her.
She's trying to run through the crew.
She loving the crew. Delayed Grass says she loving the crew. Delayed Grass says, do any of you think WWE is partnering with Noah, Marigold, TNA, and maybe AAA to benefit those promotions, or are these moves to block and control markets before new competitors emerge again?
I definitely don't think it's for the benefit of those companies.
Yes.
I think it is. I think it's the right time for them to be doing it because that's the landscape in wrestling. When your biggest competitor has made that the wave, and so many wrestlers in your company have shown you that they want to do. I mean, we saw it when Brian was telling them, like, I want to do New Japan stuff, and they thought that was the inroad to keeping him until AEW got the partnership happening. They were trying. And so I think they see that in order to keep up with what's happening right now outside of their company and make their talent happy, that this is what they need to do. I don't think it's about benefiting those companies at all. I just think that that's where wrestling is right now.
Totally.
And they didn't want to be left behind.
Yeah, exactly. And like perception, if it looks like you are doing this and it looks like you are working with all this promotions, that's a good look on you. Like Triple H is the pat on the back, like, look, we're working with everybody. We're doing this. We're sending over AJ Styles. We're doing this. It like looks good on them. And honestly, like, I think as consumers, we're the ones that need to help. Like WWE fans, they keep talking about TNA, but are they tuning into TNA to watch it? Like, if they're gonna support, you have to be the one that goes over and watches the stuff too.
Yeah, you gotta pull up these promotions and watch it, because WWE is looking at their bottom line, because it's business and that's what they're going to do. It's not really their business if TNA or Noah does well as a business.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care about that.
I don't care about that. What that got to do with me?
No,
not trying to hit SC.
No.
And then Speedbunk says Swerve is my favorite champion on TV right now. He's been on fire. That promo with Will was so good.
Ooh, buddy. That
really sold the match right there. I mean, the match is already sold without anything, but like that was like, all right, now we're into high gear.
Did you see what Swerve did? Did he continue to lay the seeds of something I said last week on the podcast? Because I told you guys, he thinks he can just come straight in and do what Kenny Omega did, but Kenny had to go through hell to get there. He had to go through all of these things to get there. And that's what Swerve's telling them. Like, you say you want to do this, you want to be world champion, but I had to completely ruin my life. I had to be evil and predictive and all of these things to do this. Are you really ready to do that? Because it seemed like you just still running around trying to have fun. You still think it's a game.
Lucky, yeah. Because Kenny came in like essentially and lost all of his friends to become world champion. And it's like, that's what Swerve's saying. Swerve's like, are you willing to lose everything that you've had to win this? And I don't know if you are at this point.
No. Are you willing to sacrifice in a way that others have sacrificed? Like, look what Max had to do to be champion. Look what all these other guys. Look at Mox. Even Mox as a baby face. That guy did not get no vacations. Are you willing to do what other guys in the lineage of this belt have done to get to this spot? I think that's a very, very good story. I think him saying like, well, if I do this, and Swerve's just looking like, if you're not ready to pull a trigger, because if it's me or you, it's you.
And that's why Swerve, anytime he says his first words to Will Ospreay, he always says, "You still think this is a game? Like, this isn't a game. I keep telling you that in order to carry this, you got to go the extra mile, and it doesn't feel like you're going the extra mile." He's like, "You're having the great matches. Everybody knows that you're Ospreay, but what about beyond that?"
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it as well when he was like, let's not make this personal. He was like, no, when it comes to this, it is personal.
It's personal.
This I had to do all of this stuff to get here. This is everything. This is everything I've worked my entire career for. If it ain't personal to you, why you doing it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that element of like sort of being like, did you see what I did to get here? Like, there ain't no line I won't cross to keep this. And you're talking about some personal. Don't get personal. I was in some man's house talking to his kid, and you're talking about personal.
Bro, I let another man drink my blood.
And we talk about, you don't want to get personal? A man drank my blood on national pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Loved
I thought Osprey being like, "Don't get personal," and then leaving, and then Swerve saying it, and then Osprey coming in like, "Full, I will fuck you up right now." Just great intensity.
I loved it. And I also, what I continue to love about Swerve as champion is that we see a lot of heels turn babyface, and then they'll get away from what made them a babyface. Like they'll stop doing, and he has some character wise, he stopped doing certain things. But when it comes to me or you, and when it turns into, what motivates you, like this is still about me, and this is still about my need to be on the top. And that's what got me here as a character. And every time he feels challenged or cornered in a way, he turns right back into that same person. And I love that.
Great story. That match is going to be insane. It's coming up
We are, buddy.
next Sunday.
I was sitting looking, and I was like, at one point, I was like, I want this match. And I'm getting this match. And then I was like, hey, man, Shingo don't have a match. How about Brian? I'm also getting that match. I said at one point, hey, I really want Leo back in this company. I am also getting Leo in this ladder match. Give me what I want. Give me everything I want.
Jesus Christ. It's your birthday too?
My birthday. It's my fucking birthday. Stop playing with your boy. NYC. I don't have the bombs in front of me, but you know what I'm saying. We outside, goddammit.
Very much so. When you said all those things together, I'm like, damn, Shingo and Brian, Leo's gonna be there. Shit, why am I not gonna be at this show? Frustrating, but also awesome. I can watch it on TV. That's all of our super chats. Thank you guys. Y'all are really dope.
Yeah.
Best show. Unreal show.
Let's see. We got some more Humper chats from Tony P. He says CMLL was blessed with a new CEO. I got to see Mina, Shingo, and Leo live. Swerve is going to murder Will next week. Also curious about the ending to the current version of Queen's Quest, which I think was needed. Yeah, the Queen's Quest stuff is very interesting with the stuff with Utami. I think it was kind of time to switch up that faction because you don't have Utami no more, and you're kind of mixing up the members now. So I think it's kind of time. You can kind of feel like it's time. You've got enough other units where you can kind of build them up now. But man, you talked about a unit that was a big part of that company. I mean, even when you think about the fact that EO versus Utami is not a Stardom match, that's a Marigold match, and just the fact that that's happening is just kind of like the identity of Queen's Quest and Stardom is just not what it was no more. And so I get it. It was kind of time.
Yeah, it's with how things are moving and they're trying to change the identity, essentially. Maybe not trying to, but we're forced to change the identity of that promotion. Like you're going to see more things like this.
Yes. Yeah. On the Leo stuff, because I see other people saying this. I love the idea that Leo comes in and he already has all of this Leo lore from his first time with the company, and he has all this stuff to go back to. Like, I thought that segment where he went to say hello to Dante was really, really funny because Andretti's like, "What's the problem? It's Leo. He's cool."
Yeah, and Leo's great. I love him.
and Dante's got like this uneasiness with him, and then of course Darius saw all of the stuff he was doing while he was away, and he was like, "No, I don't want this dude nowhere around us. Get him up out of here."
Not around my brother. I saw what he was doing around my brother last time. Not going to be in that bullshit.
He's basically trying to take my spot. No, get him up out of here.
And I love Leo just being like, "You guys, I had a good time then. Like everybody wasn't having a good time. What y'all mean?"
Yeah, even the way he won the match to get into a ladder match as well. I was just like, yeah,
that match was fire too. I like the thing that him in Action they did kind of a like spot fooey evasive on some other shit. That was a really fun match.
Yeah. Let's see.
Leo's back, baby.
Love to see it. Tony P says it told a good story of how Saya's pride. Oh, I see what he's still talking about the Queen Quest stuff. I'm sorry. He says it told a good story of how Saya's pride / ego has finally destroyed the group she loves so dearly. I think it's good because I feel Stardom needs more factions, less wrestlers, less wrestlers, and Azumi needs to finally break out alone. I think that's also the best thing about this is Azumi's probably gonna go out on her own and possibly start her own unit, and become a bigger star. I think that's the best thing to come out of this. Overall, just refreshing. I hope this will also be a rebuild of Sai as a character and of Queen Quest, which kind of lost its way after Utami left. However, I can admit I was never the best Saya fan until recently. Hope she gets rebuilt into something greater. I think Saya is a very good wrestler, exceptional wrestler. I thought she was a very good champion, up to Mina dethroning her. I still hate the way they booked that of like you had this super long reign for Saya Kamatani, and then Mina has this long story of proving herself against her and finally beating her, and then she just loses the belt to Tam. I was just like, you couldn't just let Mina have a run that meant something after all of that. You just put both belts on Tam. Why'd you do that? Like, I still don't understand why they did that. But Saya, I think
thing gets frustrating sometimes when they do. It's like, well, I see what you're trying to do because it's like it makes Tam look great, but it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, Saya is a very good wrestler. I can see some of the character stuff not being for some people, but I think it's just a matter of getting a good balance of both her. She's going to be just fine.
Right.
Got some Humper Chat from Humper Chat regular Nelson Muntz. Says, hating Drake since 2009 has shown me that my absolute hatred for WWE and CM Punk will eventually pay off as well. Kendrick popped out and showed people, and Drake wasn't. Kendrick popped out and showed people and Drake what an MC is. They will give you an amazing live show that even non-rap fans like. He also says Jadakiss and Kendrick Lamar are forever cemented in my top 5. Two of the most consistent rappers ever. Both sound the same live. Both never had a whack verse. Both will always pop out and show their doubters what a really good MC is capable of. Yeah, both had very notable cultural moments in their hometown. I still think about Jadakiss in that verses all the time and giving like his manifesto to Chicago, not Chicago, but New York, and be like, Nah. I don't live in Connecticut. I'm from New York. I'm outside.
Those niggas got houses in Miami. I'm down in New York.
Classic hip hop moment. We'll never get tired of seeing it. Yeah.
Kiss is one of the greatest. Yeah, these two, that's a forever goated hip hop moment, and it feels like along the same lines of this of like, but that was just disrespect. That's another thing because like to dismantle like the Dipset in New York is like, how do you do that? And they did it.
They wasn't ready, man. They wasn't ready.
Damn hip hop, so good.
It wasn't ready.
You saw that versus stuff too. Versus they're getting on with Elon or something. Timbaland and keep it. It might be a dead concept. I think.
I think it is. I think the thing about versus is it works so well because everybody was inside and it was kind of a cultural phenomenon at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people are as interested in seeing like the versus as live performances.
Yeah, no, it's not the same.
And see, it's kind of also one of those things where it's one of those things that blew up naturally, and then when corporations come in and go, this thing makes money, it's time to like actually get the payoff of it. It just kind of loses what it was.
Like my favorite verses is RZA and DJ Premier, and they were both like in their living rooms. Way different than what it became of like, it's a show, buy tickets, come out, blah, blah, blah. It's different.
Yeah, we just got so many organic moments from it that weren't live shows. Like,
because it felt like it used to be like two friends are battling on the internet, and then it came like, this is a spectacle, and it's like that we got the Dipset and Locks thing, but other stuff didn't translate as well.
When it was just the intimate thing of like, you know, two artists playing their biggest records and just having fun. Like I think all the time of like Ludacris and Nelly and just how Nelly was just like completely outmatched. So Ludacris is just in his studio having fun, switching outfits. Like Luda is one of the greatest ever as well. Like he's just one of the greatest Southern rappers ever. So many other moments like that didn't need a stage, like the Snoop and DMX one where it was just them in the studio. And I mean, some of them on the stage were big moments as well, like the Jada Kiss Dipset.
Ray J. My
Ray-
baby's born. My
My baby's
baby's born. Ray J is a fucking nut, dude.
To my baby's born.
With the baby in the hand, dude. I was so
That kid
dead.
looked like he was trying to get out of there. Like, Dad, put me down.
Please put me down.
Yeah, there were other ones, like of course Gucci, Jeezy, and other ones like that were big moments. But it just
Bone Thugs and 3-6 Mafia. Busy Bone.
Busy Bone. Rest in peace to Gangsta Boo, man. Well, legend. Busy Bone, you a hater.
Busy Bone. Busy Bone.
You a hater.
Busy Bone always fucks me up.
See, we got one more from Nelson Muntz. He said, I need AEW, CMLL, and Stardom to pop out and show next week what a real collaboration in wrestling looks like. Not this so-called forbidden door from that fraud Paul Levesque, Nick Khan, and all of their dick riders. They had some moments this week. I'm not a big NXT watcher, but man, was I happy for Joe Hendry, man. What a pop for that guy.
Insane
that guy
pop.
is over, man.
Oh my God. I thought that, like, because you see that crowd gets excited sometimes, but I haven't heard a pop like that in a minute. Like,
crazy,
these people went crazy. And, them throwing him out after 30 seconds or whatever, I initially was like, this is
very
dumb, but I guess
WWE
they
thing
have a
to do.
story for him. Yeah.
Very WWE thing to do. But, man, that guy,
Over.
this just shows you the power of, like, just how when a meme gets going and the internet gets behind something, man. This guy, man.
And if you could capitalize, I think the thing is easy capitalize. Like
he's
the
capitalizing.
content really works with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the feud with AJ from TNA worked really well in his favor. Him dropping the songs like the Cardona song and he's done really good things over there. I was surprised last night there was somebody with Joe Hendry sign at SmackDown. Like this he's out of here, bro.
They're about to steal him so fast.
Yeah, it feels like only a matter of time before him and Jordan are over there.
So gone.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as he popped up, I started laughing because I saw somebody also was like, "Okay, are we tired of this Joe Hendry thing yet?" And like everybody was coming to his tweet and putting the clips of Joe Hendry or putting the pictures of Joe Hendry on his tweet.
Like, no, we are not done. I think we're just getting started.
I'm sorry. It just will never stop being funny. I just think it's the beginning of it and how he turns to the camera. Dramatic.
The big ass smile on his face. It is really funny though.
Oh God, yeah. Those clips he was doing during the AJ feud were just hilarious too, man.
No, we were saying AJ fight back for a while.
He was definitely cooking, bro. From Wongi says, "Hi, Grapsody fellas. We get into Kesta in the G1, Shingo versus Bryan and Owen. Not a t-shirt Naito multi-man match at Forbidden Door. Yeah, we are not getting t-shirt Naito. We are getting a one-on-one match. Mox keeps telling us every time he gets a chance, I'm going to kill this man. I've been very much enjoying that he's made this personal, like, look, man, I don't care about none of this. Y'all want this belt back. You're going to have to beat me. Yeah, love it. I do think Naito's going to win.
Same here.
So I like the way they're building it though. But yeah, that was also a very pleasant surprise. Takeshita will be in the G1. He was among the names announced. Really happy for him. Did not think we were going to see a guy that from DDT over there in the G1. But
yeah, it's a lot of crossing over. But like, if you need one kind of not the tippity top guy on AEW, but is a dog and one of the best wrestlers there, Takeshita makes the most sense. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. From Board Dude, he says, y'all could have it worse being Native American, having our biggest representation in wrestling, being Italian man, Chief J Strongbow. Besides my native sisters, all I got is Eddie Thorpe. the white don't like seeing people of color on TV or in power.
Hey,
Well, you
what
got
about Tatanka? No Tatanka erasure. Don't forget.
you got Mickey James as well. She keeps
Mickey,
letting you guys
yeah.
know she's
Mhm.
native.
Mhm.
Is it the homie Stephen Wolf? Like he's black, but I think he's
Yeah.
got native roots as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
shout out to Stephen Wolf. If you don't know who that is, he's
And
from
like
Texas.
Nyla, the native beast, right?
That's right, native
Yeah.
piece. Look, man,
Shout out
see,
to Nyla. I love Nyla. She's so funny.
shout out to Nyla. It was great seeing her on TV this week. We got one from Nelson Muntz. YG wears church shoes and reps his set every time he performs.
YG's fits be crazy as
Somebody said Drake went up against a guy that pulled up to his concert in baggy jeans and Nike Shox. He was never gonna win,
bro. You're not gonna win. No.
I thought the same thing. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this dude is in a forum. You've got thousands of people here to see you. This guy pulled up in a hoodie and Nike Shox. Like, nah, you're
Like
not
a
gonna beat
pro
this guy.
club
This guy's a psycho.
They call it, I don't know if they have them anywhere else, but in California, there's a place called like T-shirt outlet or like place where you get pro clubs. Like Kendrick went and got a pro club fucking hoodie and put it on for like a giant concert. And like, he didn't get a stylist. He just like went to his closet.
Stylist.
What a guy. And destroyed for so long.
Nelson says, YG wears church shoes and reps his set every time he performs, and I will keep sending the good fellas of Grapsody Humper chats to show everyone that I'm truly the biggest Drake, WWE, and CM Punk hater on the planet who doesn't wrestle or rap. It's in my DNA. Nelson lets you guys know every time he is not fucking with them Fed dudes over there.
Respect.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to get your hate off, bro. It's cool. It'd be like that. There's things I hate. I don't get on here as often and talk about it, but you know,
I keep it. I'll stay somewhere.
Yeah, I try to keep the positive vibes going, man. I don't want to, I don't want to just dump on everything I dislike. There are definitely things I dislike though. Tony P said, y'all talking about Clash, the Drew Punk story, Rollins possibly facing Goot. Has me thinking about how even though we're glad Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Triple H is in charge, we still got some Vincent Kennedy McMahon booking philosophy still rampant. Absolutely. The end of Clash definitely felt like something Vince would do.
Overbooked too much. Just get to it.
That would not just giving the hometown wrestler the win in their hometown. This felt like Vince booking for sure.
And we're still conditioned because I've seen a lot of fans being like, well, he needs adversity. I'm like, he does. I think
adversity.
Last year was the thing, dude. Why did you do it again? I don't get
it. Joseph Snurk says, y'all ready for Daddy Magic's funeral after Hechicero butchers him tonight on Collision? Guy has quickly become my favorite luchador in the world. I saw some people complaining about the build for Max taking on Hechicero, but I'm actually here for it. I think that's going to be a really good match.
Yeah.
Just the style of wrestling that Max does, he can do the technical matches. We've seen that so many times now. And getting in there with somebody like Hechicero, I think that's going to be hot. In Long Island too. Yeah.
I think that's the love and the lore and the cool part about Forbidden Doors. You get matches like that. Yeah, we want like Shingo and Bryan Danielson. That's going to be fire. But I also want like Max and some random ass luchador, not as random as Hechicero. You know what I mean? Like it's the different off the wall kind of we never thought of it type matches that are really fun. And I think this is one of them.
Yeah, I also like the lore of MJF continuing to tell us, like, I'm not wrestling anybody from that super indie over there in Japan. Like, I don't respect none of them dudes. Like, yeah, put me in there with one of them random CMLL technical guys so I can show y'all again that I actually can wrestle. Like, this fits everything we know about Max. Like, I don't know why anybody's surprised by this. The way we found out we were getting the match was interesting because we got the Brian Cage backstage stuff, and I was like, okay, but why is Brian in this? Like, how did that happen? But okay, I feel you. I got you.
It's random. They recruited Hechicero because he come with fire, so they were like, hey, be on the squad. I think that was it.
Yeah, he has a similar like body build as those guys.
He does.
he kind of fits with those three guys, but I still was looking around like, okay,
Pretty random though.
where's Wardlow? Where's all the other stuff that MJF was kind of in the mix with?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess that works. But I'm not gonna complain. It's gonna be a fire match.
The match is going to be super fire, so I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I thought Max versus Roosh was also very good. Roosh also continues to do this thing where he'll go out there to start the match and just beat somebody up, just beat down on them. And he beat down on Max for a good 10 minutes in his match.
He did. Destroyed him, beat his ass. It's like this is Max's first match of 2024, and like you got 10 matches in one.
Yeah, I thought it was a very fun match. I thought a lot of stuff we got on Dynamite was good. Despite the ratings talk, again, I think it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I have not been the most impressed with some Acclaim stuff, but them getting the win makes a lot of sense. Force those guys to defend those belts.
That's the victory.
I thought Acclaim looked good in the match. They continue to show people when you just put them in tag team wrestling and let them do what worked for them, they're really good at it. They're very good as a tag team.
Yeah, if you just get to the shits, kind of stop with the extracurriculars, ring the bell, and have a tag team match, they're really good. Just getting to that can take some time.
Yeah. We also got we got the contract signing, which was very interesting because we got some very interesting back and forth with Tony and Mina. And then for some reason, Saraya got in the mix. I thought it was very interesting because for some at one point people were saying Anna Jay makes a lot of sense as a member of Mina's unit in New Japan, and then she just joins up with
other
Saraya.
side.
She just joins up with Saraya. We had Tony trying to hit somebody with a hip attack and then just threw herself through a table. Which looked incredible. I
think Anna fits over there, but it's interesting timing how it happened. You know what I mean? Like she gets back in the Outcast.
It is very funny that she went from being with Jericho to being like the closest equivalent in the women's division in Saraya. That is very funny when you think about it.
I didn't think about that.
Remember when she used to like come out and like do stuff with Jericho sometimes when she was feuding with Britt?
I forgot about that.
Piece of the pie, baby. They will find a way to get a faction together, man. Y'all said Outcast was over. We got another faction.
I blocked that shit out of my brain. I tell ya, nasty. But good for Anna. I think she deserves more positions like this. So happy that she's in that.
Yeah. I thought it was a strong episode of Dynamite.
The rating talk was stupid. I was like, because the show was so strong. I thought that there was a lot of great wrestling on it, and they really are ramping up the coverage going into Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I thought we got a lot of good match announcements. Qualifying matches for the ladder match have been good. I think the story stuff they're doing has been good. Mark Briscoe continues to be a gem every time he's on TV.
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry.
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry.
That shit was so funny.
Yeah, he definitely gave him the Metro shut your ass up and make some drums.
Totally did. Burned his ass really quick. But yeah, I think the rating talks is so annoying. I wish it was over. I can't wait till WWE goes to Netflix, so at least part of it'll start to die.
It'll never die.
Because they're about to be skewed. They're going to be like 200 million people watched the show last night.
Yeah, because it's just going to continue to be, oh, well, this is what killed WCW. Look at the ratings, blah, blah, blah. It's never going to stop. Yeah. Remember who told you first that ratings talk sucks. I keep trying to tell you people, this sucks. It's Nowhereville. I don't want to be over there.
This ain't 1998 is the thing.
When we get the numbers next week and we see that this is an anomaly, what are you going to do then? Are you going to change the conversation? How does it matter?
They're not going to.
No, of course not. Of course not. Just got to go back to the usual stuff.
Yep.
I think that is all of our Humper Chats. I just wanted to make sure.
That's all of our Super Chats, too.
I appreciate you guys, as always. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Usually I would have caught this, but I came right in from being outside with my dad, and I cut the computer and everything on and logged right in. So I didn't see, like, I came straight in and logged in and jumped to a podcast. I'm like, okay, internet is not working great. Good. But yeah, there's all of our Humper chats.
Yep, all of our super chats. That's it.
Got Collision tonight. I thought Collision last week was pretty good as well.
Denise is texting me. I might collide tonight, but it depends on how my day goes.
Listen, man, they played that vignette of all the stuff that happened on Collision, that montage of all of Collision stuff. I was like, man, it doesn't seem like Collision has been around for a year. And then when they were showing all this stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that did happen on Collision. Dennis Rodman was on Collision.
Dennis Rodman, we were there.
Yeah, we were there. We were there. A lot of stuff happened on that show that I forgot. They briefly showed Punk. They briefly showed all of the FTR stuff. And again, when I look back in there, I'm like, man, FTR was really them guys on Collision, bro.
That was their show. Show.
But yeah, the Cope Oakland, it was a strong first year for Collision. But again, it's marked by all of this television talk of, oh, does this belong on Saturday? Look at the rating for it. I think it's a fun extra 2 hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
If you got some time to kill, if you're not outside, if you're not, doing something else. Every time I rewatch it later or watch it live, I have fun with it. But it kind of feels like, I don't really need to watch this. Like, I don't think I'm missing anything if I miss it, but it's just kind of a fun thing to watch on Saturday.
It's a good wrestling show. It always has really good luchadors on it. It's like one of the funnest spot food shows there are.
Yeah, Big Ricky had his run on Collision for a minute.
Ospreay has been cooking recently. I like the direction. Bryan Danielson's on there. Like, they still got a lot of great things.
Bullet Club Gold initially they were killing it on there. Yeah, man. There were bits of it I was like, man, that initial run, buddy. We
What
was
happened
out
to
here,
that boy?
Colliders, Bruce. We was outside, buddy.
It was a different time.
It was definitely a different time, buddy.
Mhm.
I rewatched the first bits of the first episode as well. And I was like, boy, what a different time.
Different energy, huh?
Way different energy, bro.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Cutler thing this week, I was like, oh, this is all right. It's not good.
Telling you that not every single one. Like, AEW is my favorite wrestling promotion, but I don't like 100% of the stuff that happens on there.
Yeah, I don't need this authority figure thing that they.
I hate it. I've never liked it in any company, and I'll never like it.
It's not
That's
for
it.
me. But yeah,
The
fun
learning
time.
tree, though, that is for me. So just want you guys to leave this show knowing that.
I can't do it, man. I'm tired of this guy getting on there and yelling at us. I'm just leave us alone.
Learning tree? I like
Leave
the
us
learning
alone,
tree.
man. Keep Hook over there with his boy Joe and Shibata, and they're having fun beating people up. This learning
Like
tree
tonight,
shit, man.
I'm sure Jericho and Big Bill and Private Party is going to be great because I like the learning tree.
Yeah, I foresee that Private Party is going to lose to this team, and I'm going to be annoyed.
I mean, at least they're losing to the learning tree.
Bad times, buddy. Bad times. That is it for us. I will be back next week in the city of New York by that time.
Wow. Jealous. I'm jealous.
Stay tuned. We got some stuff coming up to announce. Got
That's
some
it?
stuff in our bag.
You don't want to, like, not a little hinty or nothing?
Yeah, man. Might be a little champagne flute clinking going on.
Okay. There you go.
But yeah, we got some stuff in the works. But
Keep your
what
eyes
it is,
peeled.
keep your eyes peeled. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties, but this has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey, Righteous Reg. We are out of here.